Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Week 2 of the NFL preseason kicks off tonight, and Raiders rookie quarterback Fernando Mendoza, top overall pick in the draft, is expected to start and play through the first half against the Texans. In his preseason debut, Mendoza took a couple of sacks on off-script broken plays. Watch to see what he learned from that tonight, explains ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
You're not going to survive in this league taking a bunch of sacks that are quote-unquote unnecessary. He was really good on third downs, so can that continue? But another opportunity for him to just grow and continue to develop. But some of those run-around scramble plays, how much has he learned NFL-wise from those?
Raiders Texans 8 Eastern ESPN. Lions tight end Sam Laporta uncertain for the season opener due to a hip injury recently suffered at practice. 6 days before he turns 37, free agent guard James Harden agreed on a new 3-year, $97 million contract to return to the Cavaliers. He'll become the 4th player in NBA history to pass the $500 million mark in career earnings. Oklahoma and football coach Brent Venables agreed to a new 6-year extension, averaging $10.5 million per year.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, the Raiders have questions about who should be their starter, but I'll tell you why I think it would be a huge mistake for them to play Fernando Mendoza too quickly. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by presented by LouisianaSports.net. Relief Windows is Monday, but I do love Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ross Jackson will join us from California, and we have a very an evolving show planned for you with the TRO and everything that could come of that, and also Greg Sankey weighing in on LSU basketball and RJ Lewis. So a lot we have to get to. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So a day ago, we talked about the Louisiana judge that granted the temporary restraining order, the TRO, allowing 16 college football players the opportunity to come, former college football players, some of them currently in NFL training camps, the opportunity to come back into college as part of the 5-for-5 ruling. One of them, as you know, is Jack Pyburn. 3 former Ole Miss players included in that number as well. And I spent the bulk of the evening after the show yesterday on the phone trying to talk to anyone and everyone associated with this at every level. People associated with LSU, with players, agents, attorneys, administrators, to try to get a better sense of all this. And if I were to boil it down in a very concise manner, what I would tell you is it is very obvious that Jack Pyburn wants to return to LSU. Otherwise, these attorneys would not have filed for this temporary restraining order on his behalf if he did not want to return. So I have no problem saying that definitively. Jack Pyburn wants to come back to LSU. I also very firmly believe LSU wants Jack Pyburn back. With those two sides wanting this reunion and it feeling almost like a legal foregone conclusion that the NCAA is going to lose its appeal. Because if the NCAA wins that appeal, it sure sounds like instead of a class action, you will have individual players in their individual markets filing lawsuits for TROs. And I don't think the NCAA is going to want that mess. I can't confirm that LSU at their camp and Pyburn and his camp, they have been in touch. And they both want to see this reunion happen. Lane Kiffin today, after practice, was asked a very nondescript question, almost say like, do you have any comment on the temporary restraining order? And Kiffin swatted it away.
Yeah, I think there's a lot into that and the questions that come from that. And so, fair question, but I'm not going to comment on any of it because there's just too many directions of questions that can go to.
Now, to be very clear, I had a list of questions that I wanted to ask Lane Kiffin today. I had my hand in the air for the entire press conference. I got the microphone one time. I wanted to ask very specifically, are you interested in Jack Pyburn returning? How many roster spots do you have available if you wanted to bring any of these players back? Would you have interest in bringing those former Ole Miss players back to LSU? Have you been in contact with any of these players, agents, representatives? There's a lot of questions I had. I didn't get the microphone, so they went unasked. But that just means that I'll have to dig through different intermediaries to go find those answers instead of asking the head coach on the record. But I'm not surprised Laine answered it the way he did. In his mind, he would be, if he answered the question, in his mind, he's giving away some competitive advantage, which I disagree with him, but it's his program. He can run it how he wants. I think the reaction to this has been pretty unanimous. Most people are appalled at the idea of pros returning to college. You know my feeling on this. I've said the same thing every step of the way. College athletics is not lawless. It's not the Wild Wild West, as people always throw out that stupid phrase. There are rules. The NCAA has rules. The adults refuse to force the student athletes to abide by the rules. If the NCAA issues a ruling that they don't like, they sue. I've said this all along. You want to stop all this? It's easy. The university presidents, athletic directors, coaches, they could stop all of this. They could say, nope, we're abiding by NCAA rule. The NCAA says you're ineligible, you're ineligible. But the adults have far too much to gain and lose with every win and loss. You're Lane Kiffin. They're paying you $91 million. You got a $50 million roster. You got to go win games. You're thin at defensive end. You have a chance to bring back a guy who played 4 years in the SEC and was in this defense a year ago. He's doing great in an NFL camp. Wouldn't you bring him back? That's the thought. He's just thinking about wins and losses, not the collateral effect. I have a modicum. I mean, a slimmer, this much sympathy toward the 2022 guys because there's a difference with Charles Bediako, R.J. Lewis, who LSU's trying to get eligible right now in basketball. Those guys left. They had eligibility remaining. They chose to leave. And then they're like, oh, hold up, we can make money? Wait, I want to go back. So then they sued to try to come back. That's different than this. These 2022 players were told, you can't come back. Your eligibility's over. See ya. Thanks for playing. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait, the 22s are eligible. Well, they didn't have the option when they left. They didn't have the option to stay. Now, you could ask the question, and maybe rightly, to say, well, then where does it stop? What about the 21s and the 20s and the 19s? And I don't disagree with you. I think the easiest way through this is for the administrators at all these universities to say, no, we're going to abide by NCAA rule. But nobody wants to do that. So here we are. A few things that I think are notable, as I'm not giving you like opinion on if they should, whatever, just fundamentally and functionally working through this case and what we know right now. Jack Pyburn took a $15,000 signing bonus and was a preferred UDFA So he was given a guaranteed $100,000 deal. The NFL rookie minimum. So if Jack were to make the Bucs, the rookie minimum is about $900K. It's $885,000. As I understand it, that's about what Jack would want to come back to LSU. Not looking to go break the bank, but would want to effectively be whole financially from what he would be passing on if he left the Bucs. I think relationships matter a lot in this one. Pyburn played for Baker, Kevin Peoples, who they're both still here. I think most people know that Witt, Weeks, and Jack were really good friends last year. Joe Houston, who's LSU special teams coordinator, was the special teams coordinator at Florida when Jack was there, and Jack ran special teams, so they have a really good relationship as well. When Jack played at Florida, he played with Princely Umanmielen on the defensive line and actually was on some recruiting visits with Prince Will Umanmielen. So there was a relationship there also. So there's a lot of relationships that matter and are put together that make sense for Pyburn. The question is, if he returned to LSU, would he just leave Tampa or would he wait to see if he were cut? And that is significant because if Jack left Tampa, like if he left the Bucs today and came to Baton Rouge, then Tampa would retain his rights. They would put him on the retired list, and then if he wanted to go back, when he wanted to go back to the NFL, they would own his rights. It's different if you wait through the third preseason game and Tampa cuts Jack Pyburn. Well, then he's a free agent. He would go back to LSU and then could re-enter the draft next year. I have asked for clarification on this. And I talked to attorneys and agents over the last 20 hours or so. And there was a very strongly held feeling among those people that these athletes, if they were to go back, would be able to re-enter the draft because of this legal ruling that would allow them to regain their college eligibility. They would be able to go back into the draft. Now, I understand there's an NFL CBA and a lot of different things, but if you're Jack Pyburn, think of it this way. You went undrafted, you got to go fight for a roster spot. If you go back to LSU, you play well, you re-enter the draft, and let's say you're a day 2 pick. Hypothetically, you're a day 2 pick. Well, not only are you going to get more money, but then also you get more stability where you're not looking over your shoulder trying to make a roster. There's a lot of reasons why that would sort of make sense. As far as timing, Tampa plays its final preseason game next Friday, the 28th, a week from tomorrow. Their cut down is 24 hours after your final game. So Tampa will play on Friday. By Saturday morning, the 29th, Jack would know if he made the Bucs or not. And if he was cut, I'm told he would be in Baton Rouge by that Saturday afternoon and would start to reassimilate and then would be ready to play a week later against Clemson. He'd basically have a week. There is, I think, a competitive component of this that we understand why LSU would want to do this. You have Prince Will Umanmielen, who really is your only proven edge rusher. Jordan Ross was a 5-star, but he has not started a game in 2 years at Tennessee. He's been a backup. Dylan Carpenter's been a 4-year, is into his 4th year now. He has been just a depth piece for 3 seasons, a special teams guy. Lamar Brown is a true freshman who has a super high ceiling, but again, true freshman. We know Damian Shanklin's not currently with the team. So if you can add a guy that's played in 41 games in the SEC with 20 starts, like a week before the season, that's a huge boost. I mean, so competitively, you understand why they want to do it. The Ole Miss players, I think, there's 2 complicating factors there. One is money. Daquan Wright is the tight end who's currently with Cleveland. Xavier Harris is the defensive lineman who was with the Saints, has been cut, and isn't currently with a team. You'd have to find more money to pay those guys. And look, nobody's told Lane Kiffin no to this point, but you have a $50 million roster. Like, can you keep passing the hat, and squeezing that orange to get more juice out of it? I don't know, but that's one thing to consider. I mean, you would have to find money to pay those guys. And then the SEC transfer policy, as Greg Sankey has reiterated today, the policy where players cannot transfer within the SEC outside of the set transfer window following that season. So for football, you can transfer within the SEC if you're transferring in the January portal window. So right now, that would not be allowed according to SEC policy. Also been told you could very well have a long list of lawsuits from the athletes against the SEC if they try to prohibit that. So I don't know what is going to happen with all of this. I think when I talk to attorneys familiar with all of this stuff and agents, they all seem to think that the NCAA is going to lose their appeal because if they were to win that appeal, then you would be flooded with individual lawsuits. It would just be a giant mess. That the cleanest thing to do is give the 22 guys this year, and it's not like it's a recurring thing. Like, it's not like it's going to happen again next year. It's just it's just one class for 1 year. And so do you give them this blanket waiver for 1 year, and then it's done after this, and you go to the new 5-for-5 rule. It's complicated, it's complex, and it is messy, but that's where it stands right now. But if you made me guess today at 3:15 Central Time on, Thursday, August the 20th, I think Jack Pyburn is going to play for LSU against Clemson. When they suit up and run out of the tunnel on September the 5th, I think Jack Pyburn is going to be playing for LSU. A long way between now and then, and a lot still to do, but it sure feels like the two sides, not feels like, I'm telling you, the two sides, Pyburn and LSU, are motivated to see this reunion. And if the NCAA loses its appeal, which it feels like, talking to a lot of people, they will, feels like Jack Pyburn is going to be back at LSU. As this develops, we'll talk about it more. Okay, we're glad you're with us. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Whether you're watching the Tigers or the Saints, make sure you have plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light. Whether you just want a cold pop with dinner or after knocking off of work, or maybe you're listening to your favorite band live, or you're watching the Tigers or the Hoodats, make sure you drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Look for the officially licensed cans and 16-ounce aluminum bottles. You can find them at great local retailers. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, it's after further review. Another day, another Saints injury. Why the hell not? Let's do it. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Duplessis Pools, duplessispools.com, duplessispools.com. You're going to get awesome customer service and a beautiful pool when you call Duplessis Pools. Remember, at Duplessis Pools, they've been voted a top 50 pool builder in America by Pool & Spa Magazine each of the last 2 years. They're the only Louisiana pool builder to earn that designation. So congrats to Derek and the great team over at Duplessis. A great illustration of how they work so hard to build you a beautiful pool and give you a great customer service experience. And remember, we've been telling you, if you haven't tried it yet, go to the website, duplessispools.com, duplessispools.com, duplessispools.com. They have a new 3D tool on the website. Go to Pick Your Pool on the homepage, select whichever of the 11 pool designs you like best, and then just start picking the features. It'll build the pool right there in 3D. It'll adjust the price as you go. You got to check it out. If you're thinking of building a pool, you want Duplessis Pools. duplessispools.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona, inviting you to join us this Wednesday for AFR from Marucci's Hitter's House on Siegen Lane in Baton Rouge. Come take some hacks in the cages with the best bats in the world, the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's at Marucci's Hitter's House in Baton Rouge.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Okay, hour 3 is going to be a little jam-packed. So Ross Jackson will join us from California with Saints Camp. Jenna Laine, who covers the Bucs for ESPN.com, she'll join us in hour 3 as well. We'll get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side of this Jack Pyburn story. It is a little bizarre, admittedly, that there's a guy who's going through training camp with the Bucs right now, but has been granted a TRO to return to college. So he's taking somebody's spot right now on the Bucs roster if he doesn't plan to be there. As I understand, Jack does plan to play in the Bucs preseason. They play the Chiefs this weekend, and so he'll play against Nussmeier. Anyway, so we'll get the Tampa Bay side of this with Jenna Laine, and then also our buddy Jeff Watson from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys will join us in hour number 3. If you're familiar with the show, Jeff handles all of the NIL contracts and legalities for the G team and is very well-versed in NIL law and all of this sort of stuff. So we'll get sort of a legal opinion from Jeff in hour number 3. So we're going to be jam-packed in hour 3. By the way, and Chase Parham is going to join us in a little more than an hour. He covers Ole Miss. If this just came down, remember the judge in Louisiana that issued the TRO a day ago also mandated a new portal window open immediately. And so there is a transfer portal window open, and 7 new Max Olson just tweeted this. 7 new players have entered the transfer portal thanks to the Louisiana TRO. And there are a lot of the names you would expect, including Ole Miss tight end Daquan Wright, Ole Miss defensive lineman Xavier Harris, and another name that I would say you should probably keep an eye on is running back TJ Harden from SMU. That's one that Hunt wrote about today over at LouisianaSports.net. It makes sense. I mean, there's 2 running backs. Remember, every player that was listed in that TRO was listed for a reason. Like, it wasn't ambiguous. Like, the players, I mean, a 20, 21, 22-year-old doesn't have, like, the autonomy to go file a lawsuit. Like, there are people advising them here and directing them to the attorneys to go do this. So they all are part of this for a reason. And it was filed in Louisiana, which tells you, obviously, there's close affiliation with LSU. And so you have these former Ole Miss players. You have TJ Harden, who's a running back at SMU. Waylon Lapuho from BYU is an offensive lineman. Trent Hendricks, a linebacker from James Madison. Ethan Johnson, who's a cornerback from App State. Luke Jawicki from New Mexico is a place kicker. Are the ones that have entered the transfer portal. So it's those 7 so far. But obviously, they all entered the portal for a reason. They all were part of this TRO for a reason. They want to get back and probably have the destination in mind where they want to go. So, again, we'll get some legal opinions on that in hour number 3 again with Jeff Watson. But again, also in the Ole Miss side of it, we'll talk to Chase Parham in a little more than an hour. I mean, is Does Ole Miss want Xavier Harris and Daquan Wright back? Now, Daquan Wright is in camp with the Browns, and as I understand it, is doing awesome. Like, Cleveland loves him, and he's got a real shot of making that squad. But could you go back to college and make $1 million? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what Daquan Wright wants. So we'll talk about that again from the Ole Miss side of it with Chase Parham in about an hour. Man, another day has brought another injury for the New Orleans Saints. It's like it's one of those things like if you didn't laugh, you'd cry sort of thing. It's getting ridiculous as we start to list off all the injuries. Now it's Quincy Riley, the cornerback who's got a groin injury. Here was Kellen Moore it was while he was announcing Kamara as well, talking about Kamara and Quincy Riley.
Yeah, they'll each be a few weeks, somewhere in there. Alvin with the knee and then Quincy with the groin. So they'll be okay. They just got to get back healthy.
Could either of those linger into week 1 or?
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
I mean, a few weeks could linger into the season. The Saints' defensive backfield already is one that that is thin. And you lost 3 of your top, highest snap performers from a year ago in your defensive backfield. You saw Lante Taylor leave in free agency, and you didn't replace him. It was one of my criticisms after the draft. I thought we talked about the draft, and I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking this. Like, the criticism that I had in the draft is when they took T.J. Hall in round 7, I thought they should have gotten a cornerback earlier in the draft. There's a very glaring need that they had. And now with an injury, you're even thinner there with Quincy Riley, who's expected to start at one of the boundary spots opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry. And Quincy Riley, to begin with, already wasn't an elite-level corner a year ago. And it was a rookie. He played 592 snaps for you. His PFF grade was a 61. And of his 592 snaps, 570 were at boundary corners. That's a spot he played, but he was your number 2. Like, he was not trying to lock down the best receiver. That was Kool-Aid, who we talked plenty about Kool-Aid this year. But now, if you remove Quincy Riley for a couple of weeks, it opens the door for a guy like Martin Emerson, who was a standout in the preseason week 1. He's been really good so far in training camp. But I look at Martin Emerson, and the fact that I'm trying to convince myself to be excited about Martin Emerson kind of speaks to the problem with this secondary right now. He was a good player at Mississippi State. He was a 3rd-round pick. And as a rookie in Cleveland in 2022, he was outstanding. His PFF grade was a 72 as a rookie. By contrast, I just told you that Quincy Riley as a rookie, he graded out a 61. So Emerson as a rookie was really good. His coverage grade was a 75. Like, he was a really good rookie with Cleveland. And then he went from a 72 to a 63 to a 47 to missing all of last year due to injury. So you have seen this precipitous decline from Emerson from a very, very good rookie season to just not as good, like a sophomore slump, a bad starter in year 3, and then injured and missing an entire season. But this is an opportunity now in his 5th year in the NFL, and especially with Quincy Riley's injury, for the next 2 weeks for Martin Emerson, very likely to see if he can insert himself as a starter in that secondary. So that's one worth keeping an eye on. The Saints had joint practice here on Thursday out in California. They're going to play a preseason game on Saturday at 3 o'clock against the Rams. And with Quincy Riley out, it should stand to reason this is a great opportunity for Martin Emerson maybe to step up and see if he can win a job in that secondary. So if you weren't already watching the cornerback room, now there's added reason to do so with Quincy Riley's injury. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Remember, every year for the last 3 decades, they've issued the patronage refund. This effectively is First South Farm Credit sharing their profits with their member borrowers. So it effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. So, like, let's say you borrow at a 5% rate. When you get your patronage refund, it's like borrowing at a 4% rate. It's another way Another reason why doing business with First South Farm Credit, why they should be your first call. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here, y'all. If you want to get in, you can. Email us, tweet us, text us. My text line is in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Or you can always text the show, the station text line, which is 499-1045, 225-499-1045. If you want to text, I know a lot of people have questions about the whole thing with the TRO. We'll try to answer as many of those as we can and what it means. LSU did practice today. I was there this morning. Lane Kiffin spoke afterwards, so we're going to get into a lot of that as we move throughout the show today. I'll get you a practice report in 30 minutes from right now. But let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Rev Fiber is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. As a matter of fact, Rev Fiber is the official internet provider of LSU Athletics. He was over at the LSU Football Ops building today, Lane Kiffin's press conference. As he stepped to the mic, you notice the mic flag right there, the logo on the microphone is Rev Fiber. Of course, as a proud partner of LSU Athletics, you're going to see plenty of Rev Fiber logos everywhere, and we love talking about them every day because if you need high-speed internet, who doesn't? If you're tired of that little spinning wheel and slow lagging internet, if you want the security of an all-fiber network and lightning-fast internet speeds, well, then you want Rev Fiber. And oh, by the way, you're going to get better pricing and local customer service because Rev has been in Louisiana for 90 years. REVRevFiber.com, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com for your home or for your business, internet, security, home automation, phone, cable, they do it all. Rev Fiber, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts, extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it.
River Parish Contractors. Check them out, y'all. rpcontractors.com. rpcontractors.com. Y'all, they are hiring over at River Parish Contractors. As I told you, they had a record-setting Q1, a record-setting Q2, and they're on pace for a record-setting Q3. And when you have that much work, you need people as well. How about this? In Reserve, at their fab shop, In Reserve, they're looking for an industrial estimator. Interested? Get in touch with Big Jake over at River Parish Contractors. Avondale, Brobridge, and Plaquemine. They need rig welders. Apply at rpcontractors.com. Just down the road from us in Geismar, they need iron workers, pipe fitters, a crane operator. I told y'all, they got tons of work on both sides of the river. They got as much overtime as you want to work. Day shift, night shift. They also have work where they need heavy equipment operators in Geismar and Norco. What y'all waiting on? Great local company, 25 years in business, River Parish Contractors.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
One of the things I've been pretty consistently asked is, I was actually doing an interview this morning on ESPN Austin with my buddy Aaron Hogan, and Jack, who's a co-host with Aaron, asked me this morning about Will Wade. He said, they really got 4 guys on the roster? I was like, well, in a very literal sense, if you open up the website, LSUsports.net, and look at the roster, there's 4 names listed on the roster. In actuality, they feel like they're actually over their roster number right now, but think they're going to get all those guys approved. And Will Wade said in the interview he did with John Rothstein on his podcast several months ago, when we had the same question about all the international guys and everything, with the roster being, the numbers being small. I think at that point they had 1 player on the roster. And Will said, by the time that school starts, like, you'll see. Well, school starts on Monday, and my submission is that by the time school starts and all these guys are enrolled in school, then you'll see those numbers populate officially on LSUsports.net. But I think LSU's numbers are just fine. But LSU's expecting to get R.J. Lewis eligible, and Greg Sankey is pushing back against the idea of R.J. Lewis playing. And I applaud Greg Sankey for this. I know LSU fans won't love me saying this because it's the whole thing about if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If everyone else is using pros, why can't LSU? My point is, right is right, wrong is wrong. Either you're okay with this or you're not okay with this. And Greg Sankey is pushing back against allowing athletes who have signed professional contracts back into college sports. He asked Judge Ronald Johnson in East Baton Rouge Parish to uphold NCAA rules that prevent athletes from returning, saying the decision is, quote, essential to the integrity of college sports. He wrote this, and he wrote that allowing pros back in NCAA competition would undermine the, quote, fundamental principles of college sports and unfairly harm high school students looking to join a college team, as well as other teams that have followed existing rules. He went on to say, these rules are grounded in the principle that athletics are an integral part of the academic experience. The rules align the time permitted for college athletics with the pursuit of an undergraduate education and further the important purpose of preserving opportunities for future student athletes to participate in college sports. So the affidavit is in response to this lawsuit filed by R.J. Lewis, who was the former Big East Player of the Year. And, of course, now we're looking at these other 3 cases that have been filed, including the one where the TRO was granted a day ago. So we'll see what the judge ultimately allows to have happen here. This is a similar objection that Greg Sankey filed in the case of Alabama forward Charles Bediako. If you remember, Bediako is a guy who left Alabama, started his pro career, decided he wanted to come back. He got a TRO, played in those handful of games under the TRO, and then ultimately the NCAA won its appeal, and Bediako had to leave again. It's very similar as to what's happening here with R.J. Lewis. And my point that I'm going to say today is the same thing I said with the Bediako thing. It's absurd. There is no reality where R.J. Lewis should be playing basketball at LSU or anywhere in college again. He left. And I know their argument. Well, he never played in an NBA game. He stayed enrolled at school. I know what they're arguing. And the point is, R.J. Lewis signed a 2-way contract in the NBA. The NCAA rule is black and white. If you sign a contract, including a 2-way deal, you are ineligible, period. You have forfeited your college eligibility. R.J. Lewis should not play basketball at LSU. There's people over there that don't like me saying it. I don't really give a rip. If you are someone who is sick and tired of all of the quote-unquote lawlessness, the Wild Wild West, this is a spot where you can put your foot down. And you can say, no, the rule is black and white. He is ineligible. The NCAA has ruled him ineligible. He can't play. That's where I stand on it. I do not think that R.J. Lewis should be allowed to play. I'm actually a little ticked at LSU leadership for allowing this to go the way that it has, because they are now illustrating they are part of the problem as well by allowing this to happen. So do you want to be part of the problem or do you want to be part of the solution? R.J. Lewis is a good basketball player. Are there other good basketball players that Will Wade could recruit in an era where you can pay players? Yeah. Go find one that can legally play for you. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. You know, you hear the spots all the time where you have the LSU athletes and coaches that say, I trust the lake. If it's Whit Weeks or Trey Green or Jordan Seaton or Sam Levitt, they all say, I trust the lake. It's one of their lines. Well, in a very literal sense, I do too. 2 Fridays ago, had appendicitis. I went over to Our Lady of the Lake to the men's health group where my primary care physician, Dr. Curtis Chastain, and his group, Dr. Boudreau and Dr. Oscar Schoenfeld. Tyler Boudreau saw me, determined I needed to go to the ER, personally wheeled me over there. Dr. Mo did my surgery there at the lake. They were awesome. From the ER to the tower on the 8th floor where my room was, ER, post-op, everything. They were awesome. When I needed emergency surgery, I trusted the lake. You should as well. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Brent Venables got a new contract, making him one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in college football. 6 years, $63 million, 10.5 per. Sooner Scoop had it first. So he's the 10th highest paid coach in college football, just behind Texas A&M's Mike Elko. Sooners coming off a 10-win season in their first trip to the college football playoff.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Not good news for Shane Beamer, as elite pass rusher Dylan Stewart and tackle Jacarius Peak are expected not to be ready when the season opens. Neither are long-term injuries, according to Shane Beamer. They're going to play and they want to play, but they may not be there for the start of the season. Neither has practiced so far during preseason camp. Gamecocks open at home against Kent State. Then they host Towson before their SEC opener against Mississippi State on September 19th. Then they travel to Alabama.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Speaking of the Tide, Bama held 2 players out of Thursday's final preseason scrimmage, and 1 player exited due to injury. That was E.J. Crowell, the running back who did not scrimmage. DeBoer said, I would expect him that he'd be able to return sometime next week. He's dealing with an ankle injury. It was defensive back Nick Sherman who left practice with a lower extremity injury. As DeBoer said, he'll undergo further evaluation. He's a JUCO transfer who joined Bama this offseason.
Texas A&M!
And the Aggies are going to honor football legend R.C. Slocum with a statue outside of Kyle Field. The dedication will happen on September the 4th before the season opener there in Aggie Land. Slocum's 81 years old. He's the winningest head coach in program history. 123 wins over 14 seasons while leading A&M, and he never had a losing season. They won 4 conference titles, including the 1998 Big 12 championship, the last conference title that Texas A&M football has won. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Remember, you can always get everything for free over at louisianasports.net, louisianasports.net. And if you haven't done so yet, whenever we have breaking news, we will always text out the breaking news on our text line. So if you're interested, text LSN, as in louisianasports.net, just 3 letters. Text LSN to 225-499-1045, 499-1045, 499-1045. Text LSN to 499-1045. If you do that, you'll get the option to opt in. And so whenever we send out a text, if we have breaking news, boom, you'll get that breaking news alert courtesy of louisianasports.net. Whereas we mentioned, everything is always free. No paywalls. Just go enjoy it at louisianasports.net. I got to sneeze. You might want to talk.
All right.
Play something.
Play.
I went away.
Okay.
I hate when that happens.
I was ready for the God bless you and everything, man. I had it teed up.
I hate when that happens.
It's the worst.
It's not the worst. It just isn't good.
You're right. Sneezing while driving, that's the worst.
Sneezing when you have debilitating back pain is worse than sneezing while driving. So sneezing while driving, not the worst.
I can't relate to the back pain, though. Everybody can relate to the driving thing.
I don't think sneezing while driving is bad.
Oh, dude, it freaks me out. Eyes closed. I'm like...
You know your heart stops when you sneeze?
I did know that, yes.
Yeah, that's wild. You die for a second. For a fraction of a second.
That's the origin of bless you.
Because you're dead?
Yeah, and you came back. Oh, God bless you.
God did bless me.
There you go.
All right, it's after further review. Lane Kiffin met with reporters after practice. I will get you a practice report coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. Stick around. It's AFR.
After further review.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions, Glow Resources. This is an illustration I like to do to show you that at Glow Resources, yes, they're based here in Baton Rouge. They have offices all over, and they help businesses everywhere. And it doesn't matter if you're looking for skilled blue-collar labor or any type of office job. So, for example, there's a company in Baton Rouge that's looking for a clinical application specialist. There's a company in Florence, South Carolina, looking for a carpenter. There's a company in Houston, Texas, looking for a process improvement engineer, an excavator operator in Sanford, North Carolina, a convenience store supervisor in Gonzales, Louisiana, a production planner in Port Arthur, Texas. You get the point. That all different types of jobs, all different types of skill sets all over the country. If your business needs the right people to be its most efficient, Glow Resources can help. GLO, glowresources.com.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
When a capital project moves from planning to execution, downtime isn't an option. Who do you trust to deliver? River Parish Contractors has more than 500 employees, dedicated safety, quality, and project management teams, and 9 full-time estimators backed by a 36,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility. We can deliver multi-million-dollar industrial construction projects on time and safely, locally owned and headquartered in South Louisiana. We're River Parish Contractors, and we're built for bigger challenges.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Sometimes I wonder if people are actually serious. I got a text from Kevin who said, Matt, you're picking and choosing NCAA rules you want to obey. There used to be an NCAA rule that said you could not pay players. Court struck it down. Well, first of all, the courts didn't strike down a rule about not paying players. The NCAA okayed NIL, which is allowing players to be paid on their name, image, and likeness. And then Congress reached the settlement last June, which allowed revenue share. What are you talking about? Like the rule literally allows players to be paid. What are you talking about? Like you don't have to love every rule, but if you're gonna voluntarily be part of an organization, you agree to abide by their rules. And during the time when you couldn't pay players, if you paid players, you got in trouble. Then you accepted the punishment. Well, now you can pay players. What are you missing? Sometimes I wonder if people are actually serious or if they actually take time to stop and think about things. Hey, real quick, congratulations are in order. LSU alum, longtime LSU communications staffer, and now 13 years leading the SEC in communications, Herb Vincent has announced from the SEC that he will retire at the end of this football season. So you can get that information up at the SEC's website. They post it on social media. But congratulations to Herb Vincent, a 43-year career, and he has announced his plans to retire at the conclusion of this football season. Always enjoy seeing Herb over at SEC Football Media Days and then throughout the season in various stadiums or at the SEC Championship, whatever it may be. A consummate pro, someone who I think Greg Sankey would acknowledge he has leaned on heavily during his tenure as commissioner. There was a time where many thought Herb might actually be in line to be the next commissioner of the SEC, replacing Mike Sly, but Greg Sankey, of course, was named SEC commissioner, and Herb Vincent has been a chief lieutenant and one of the guys that has certainly helped craft public sentiment around the Southeastern Conference during those 13 years. He's outstanding at his job. So congrats on a well-earned retirement from Herb Vincent, who will be retiring at the end of this football season. Hey, real quick, we're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. I do want to let you hear some of what Lane Kiffin had to say when he met with reporters today, but I do want to remind you, as always, repairs, replacements, commercial, residential, gutters, soft wash. We do it all. Our new partner, Drew Brees, we're fired up for that. Actually making plans this fall to all get together when Drew's in town for his Ring of Honor induction for the New Orleans Saints for the weekend of the Vikings game. But if you have any issue with your roof, we'd love it if you give us an opportunity to earn your business. And it doesn't matter if it's your home or any size commercial building. If it's a small repair, a full roof replacement, we can do it all. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. Just fill out the form on the homepage. We'd love to help you out. ParrishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. I'm going to get to my LSU football practice report in 10 minutes after the top of the hour. Lane Kiffin did meet with reporters, though, today. And one thing that I thought was very a moment of candor from Lane Kiffin was when he was asked about depth on the offensive line. And we've known for a while now, I think, what the starting five looks like. I guess to a degree, maybe there's still some battles going on at right tackle, but it feels like Weston Davis has locked down that job. We know Bo Bordelon is locked in as the starting left guard. So Seaton, Bordelon, Moore, Aluba, Weston Davis. That, barring something unforeseen, that'll be your starters against Clemson. But Lane Kiffin was asked about his offensive line depth, and his answer quite honestly surprised me.
It's a concern and something that is high on our list of concerns right now. And so we've got to continue to get guys better. They got to improve, and so that we feel more confident with that. I mean, I guess before yesterday, normally we'd say our team is our team, and so it's what we got. But I guess that potentially changes yesterday. But other than that, we got to get the guys better.
What he's kind of joking about there is the TRO, saying like you could add guys. I don't know what he's joking about. I don't know that offensive line is a spot where they're necessarily looking to add. But I think the interesting thing hearing him say that is because that's a spot where they made a very conscious decision, this staff did, when they came in, where they had a whole bunch of guys with a lot of experience on their two deep. And you know the names. DJ Chester and Paul Mabenga and Tyree Adams and Ori Williams, and we can go down the list. Cohen Eccles. There's a lot of guys who had played a lot of football, but they weren't very good. Let me rephrase that. They didn't play well, individually or collectively. And so you have this unit where the staff came in and said, okay, well, do we retain all these guys that have this experience, or do we start from scratch? And they effectively started from scratch, except for Braylon Moore and I guess to an extent Weston Davis. And now Bo Bordelon. So incidentally, three of the guys that retained may end up being starters. But I don't think any of us thought Bordelon was going to end up being a starter. He's sort of won one of those jobs. But you look at guys like William Satterwhite, who played 2 years at Tennessee, Darren Stray, who played last year at Kentucky. You bring in Jaquan Sprinkle, who's played 3 years, was a 2-year starter at NC Central. All that to say, like, you went out and got Sean Tompkins from Baylor, who was the starting left tackle at Baylor a season ago. Devin Harper, who was expected to be the starting right tackle at Ole Miss this year. When I talked to my friends who cover Ole Miss, it feels like you have a lot of numbers and guys who have played a lot, but maybe they haven't played to the level of expectation that this staff has just yet. One thing that I think is encouraging is the fact that you've got Wolford and James Craig working with that group. They are certainly working on being a more physical unit, which they were not a season ago. That was very obvious to all who watched. And that alone should make them better. But Lane Kiffin's telling you point blank, that's a concern. He's also said that about cornerback depth after the injury there, the edge rusher spot, the youth at defensive tackle. So while I think LSU's first 22 across the board are really good, one of the things that will separate contenders from really good teams from contenders is what type of quality depth you have. And that's what they're continuing to work on right now in fall camp. Okay, SportsCenter's coming up. We get you caught up on national headlines. I'll kick off hour 2 with an LSU practice report next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. Hey, the 4-day sale is going on right now over at Rouse's. Now through Sunday, save big on darn near everything over at Rouse's. Stack up on prime ribeyes, whole chicken, bell peppers, Louisiana crawfish tails, and so much more. It's not going to last forever. It's the 4-day sale right now through Sunday at all 76 Rouse's locations. So you need to make your groceries? Get on by Rouse's. Want to stock your freezer with whole ribeyes, USDA prime beef bone-in whole ribeyes, $15.97 a pound? Go get them right now at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Watching the Saints practice, you see that beautiful red Rouse's patch on the Saints practice jersey. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Oklahoma with a big commitment to football coach Brent Venables. He agreed to a new 6-year contract through the 2031 season, averages more than $10.5 million per year. The Sooners coming off an impressive 2025 campaign during which they made their first college football playoff appearance since 2019. ESPN college football analyst and former Sooner, Dusty Voracek.
Speaks to the trust that everyone there around the program has in Brent Venables. There's real positivity. New athletic director there on campus and Roger Denny. And I had a chance this summer to be around both Coach Venables, Roger Denny, and Jim Nagy. And there's alignment between those three. The vision and the future is clear. And that's with Brent Venables running the show there in Norfolk.
NBA, it's back to Cleveland for James Harden. The free agent guard agreed to a new 3-year, $97 million extension to return to the Cavaliers. NFL, the Rams expect more workouts from defensive tackle Aaron Donald before he makes a decision whether to come out of retirement. Raiders rookie quarterback Fernando Mendoza expected to play about a half in tonight's preseason game against the Texans, 8 Eastern, ESPN.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Chase Parham is going to join us in 30 minutes. Three former Ole Miss players were part of the TRO that was granted in a Louisiana courtroom a day ago. Those three players have entered two of the three have entered the transfer portal, Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris. We'll get the sense of what's going on the Ole Miss side of this from Chase Parham in 30 minutes. I got a text from Spencer who said, Matt, got a question. How do you feel Tampa feels about one of their players hedging? Do you think that affects their decision process about potentially keeping Pyburn or not? It's a great question. That's why we're going to have Jenna Laine with us in an hour and 15 minutes. So Jenna Laine covers the Bucs for ESPN.com. She's their NFL Nation reporter. And I want to ask her that question point blank. Like, what's the feeling like internally there with the Bucs, with their organization? I mean, it's because if Jack Pyburn intends on returning to LSU, then he is taking a spot right now from someone else who could potentially make the team. And also, Tampa maybe isn't motivated to cut Jack if he wants to go back, because if they cut him, then they forfeit his rights for when he inevitably goes back to the NFL. If he leaves, they retain his rights. They would put him on a retired list, but when he comes back, they would retain his rights. So from Jack Pyburn's perspective, it would be better if he wants to return to LSU. It would be better for Tampa to cut him. For Tampa, it's better if he just leaves. So you maybe have a weird game of chicken going on. Anyway, we'll get the Tampa side of this in about an hour and 10 minutes from right now. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Amid all of this, LSU is back on the practice field Thursday morning, and the biggest note was a notable absence, and it was Lamar Brown, who was not there today at practice. I did report over at Locked on LSU on my podcast and over at LouisianaSports.net that I was told Tuesday's practice, when we were there Tuesday for the individual drills, Lamar Brown was out there and he was fine. I was told after we left, when they had the team portion, there was a part of the scrum, and a couple guys were slow to get up. One of them was Lamar. Maybe got rolled on, something like that. He did get up. He did walk off the field. I think they put him in a boot just as a precaution, but that's like they do that for everybody. It's a stabilizing thing. Don't let being in a boot spook you. But he was not there today. I was told like it's not significant at all. I would assume this is precautionary, and I don't think it's any different than like having DJ Pickett in gold yesterday, or Winnie Watkins in gold last week, or Holt. Like a couple of other notables today, for example, Jordan Ross. Ross missed the first 2 practices this week. He was not there Monday or Tuesday. Today, he was there full go without any limitation, and he was in purple. By the way, if you're not familiar, offense wears white, defense wears purple at practice. If someone's injured or no contact, they wear a gold jersey. So Jordan Ross was out there full go after missing Monday, Tuesday. So I would not make too much of this at all. I think it's based on what I understand it is strictly precautionary, out of an abundance of caution with a player that you desperately need to be ready to go for you against Clemson at a position where you've already lost Gabe Relaford for the season. Damian Shanklin is not with the team right now. Like, you cannot afford to lose anybody else at that spot. So we'll keep an eye on what happens there with Lamar, but he was not there today. As I mentioned, it was great news that Jordan Ross was back. Malik Blockton was also back. Blockton is a guy who was not at practice on Monday during our viewing, was there Tuesday but not participating, and then today was a full go. Also, DJ Pickett, who was in a gold jersey, a no-contact jersey on Tuesday, was back in purple here on Thursday. And I shared this with you the other day. I'll reiterate it. What I was told with Pickett was the same thing I was told with Trey Green, where there was no limitation, there was no injury. It's literally just you can't afford to lose that guy, so you want to basically give him a day off. That's effectively what they did, was to give him the day off from contact and things like that. So also great news, Harlem Berry. Harlem Berry was back full go working in all the drills with the running backs. Berry was not there on Monday. He was there on Tuesday but not participating, and then today was a full go. I was told Monday that he had a stomach bug. So, and look, we know he played in the scrimmage on Saturday. LSU released the video of the touchdown. So, that he scored. So that was great to see. Looks like you're healthy and as healthy as you can imagine. At this point in fall camp, with just a few days left, they'll practice tomorrow. They'll scrimmage Saturday, and that's the end of fall camp. School starts on Monday, and then it's time to get ready for Clemson. So just a few of those things. Also notable, Ed Ogeron again was absent. We did report over at LouisianaSports.net that Coach O was not at the scrimmage on Saturday. Now we noticed he was not there at practice on Monday, and that's when I asked Lane Kiffin, and Lane said he wasn't feeling well, so they sent him home. But what I'm telling you is Coach O has not been there certainly since Saturday when he was not at the scrimmage. So now you're coming up on almost a week of his absence. So I wanted to get the microphone today to ask Lane Kiffin. Nobody else did. I wanted to ask him for an update. Didn't get the microphone during the press conference. So maybe another time we'll get an update on Coach O on or off the record. If we find anything out, we'll let you know. But he's been out now for about a week. A few other things. As I was looking at the defense, and Hunt and I kind of divide and conquer at practice. I'll go watch defense and offensive line. Hunt will go watch the quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends, running backs. The defense was doing a circuit drill. It was notable because it was a 4-circuit drill on Tuesday with the whole defense. This was just 3 circuits, and it was DBs and linebackers. The defensive tackles went and did their own thing. Defensive ends went and did their own thing. And while Tuesday the circuit was all about forcing fumbles and recovering fumbles, this was all about tackling to the ground, driving after a tackle, breaking down in space, all that sort of stuff. And then with the offensive line, it's interesting the way that the portion we get to see, how they break it up. James Craig takes one half the line, and Eric Wolford takes the other half of the line, like the left side and the right side is how they divide it. So you get to see basically like half the line work at a time. And what was notable is that, like you could tell, okay, so Braylon Moore was there with Bo Bordelon and Jordan Seaton. So that was the left side of the line. So they did a combo block drill and getting out in space. Well, the next unit behind them was the freshman Ryan Moret at center, then William Satterwhite at left guard, and Bryson Martinez at left tackle. Now, I'm not suggesting those are the twos. It was interesting because, again, like I think, God forbid, but if you had something happen to one of your offensive tackles, I think Sean Tompkins, the Baylor transfer, is your swing tackle at this point and probably goes in at either tackle spot if you need a backup. What was notable, I think, on the day where Lane Kiffin talked about offensive line depth being a concern, I think they're trying to identify who their best guys are on the offensive line and if they can get them cross-trained. So instead of having like a backup at each spot, it's okay, well, who's your 6th, 7th, 8th lineman, so on? Like, who's your swing tackle? Who goes in next at guard? Who's in next at center? Whatever, if you do need someone to go in one of those spots. And it was notable because Satterwhite was at left guard. Satterwhite in high school, you can go watch clips of him playing tackle on either side. At Tennessee, he played 182 snaps in 2 years at Tennessee, all of them at center. And he was brought here, no doubt, to be Braylon Moore's backup in the heir apparent. But it sounds to me, talking to people in the program, like Ryan Moret, the freshman, has really made a big-time move. And I wouldn't be surprised if Moret is actually the backup center at this point. I was also told after the scrimmage on Saturday, Moret and Bryson Martinez were awesome. And, like, they're the future, and they're really excited about those two young players. So I think they're getting some of those guys, additional reps. But Satterwhite's interesting because he came in as a center, but a couple of Saturdays ago, during the media viewing portion, he was working at right tackle, and today he was working at left guard. So you're seeing Satterwhite moved all over the offensive line, and he may be one of those swing guys right now that's in the mix to say, all right, you have your first 5, but what if you need, like, the next guard up or the next right tackle? Like, what are your options? Well, Satterwhite might be that guy with that much versatility. So one thing worth keeping an eye on. As far as the receivers, the only receivers in gold were Jabari Mack and then Trey'Dez Green, of course. So Malik Elzy, who was in gold on Tuesday, was back in a white offensive jersey. No limitations on anybody. Winnie Watkins, Jace Brown, who last week at times were in gold. They've been in white. They look great. A lot of goal line throws today. Back pylon, jump ball, back shoulder throws, out routes in the front of the pylon. I think the Mason Taylor play effectively. We saw Sam Levitt throwing on the run.
Mason Taylor!
Oh, I wasn't ready for that. Saw Sam Levitt throwing on the run today, which we haven't seen a lot of. Typically, it's just stationary, stand on your spot, throw the ball. Today, he was throwing on the move, so it was something different to see. It was really exciting, too, to hear Lane Kiffin after practice talk about Sam Levitt. He used the word awesome to describe Levitt. Said, do you have that one? Play that if you would. It's okay. Use the word awesome to describe Sam Levitt, and then said he made 2 adult throws. That's the way Lane phrased it. He said not many people can make those throws. So they're relying on Levitt to be so good, man, to be whatever they're going to be this year, and it's nice to see him coming along and playing the way that he is so far through fall camp. Levitt has been healthy and has really taken ownership of camp, which is awesome to see. And then I always kind of keep an eye on what NFL teams are out there because they always send scouts. So Ravens, Broncos, Falcons, Giants, Bears. Those were the scouts that I saw out there today. So a good day of work for LSU and what we got to see. They're clearly taking it easy with some guys who they're going to need as they're sort of pacing guys throughout fall camp, but continuing to be physical and get them ready. Tigers will be back at work on Friday, scrimmage in Tiger Stadium on Saturday, day off Sunday, and then school starts on Monday and they start getting ready for Clemson. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO. Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. Industrial generator power. That's what they do over at Arco Power Systems. I love telling you about Arco because they're a great local business. And, man, what they do is so important. When you think about what would happen to your business if the power goes out, if you never want to have to consider what it would be like, or if you remember what it was like from the last storm, you need Arco because everything they do is turnkey. Their generators are built for businesses. At Arco, they say our business is your business. Arco.com. It's turnkey. Sell, service, install, rent, industrial generators. You got a home standby generator for your house? What about for your business? That's Arco. ARCCO. Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Chase Parham covers Ole Miss. He'll be with us in 15 minutes. He'll give us the Ole Miss perspective on the TRO and the 3 Ole Miss players that are now in the transfer portal and might well be looking to get back into college, but not with the Rebels. We'll talk about that in about 15 minutes from right now. Ross Jackson at the top of hour number 3. A ton to do. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Service. So many instances in life today, customer service is lost. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James, and you will never, ever, ever question that. Because when it comes to working with a realtor, there is nobody better than Darren James. Darren works round the clock. I've literally had this conversation with Darren when he's been going to a client's house at 11 p.m. to change a light bulb at one of his listings. You know, Darren believes that great service is not hours of operation. It's whenever the client needs him. And so if you want that type of relationship and that level of service from your realtor, then there's only one choice. It's Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
When a capital project moves from planning to execution, downtime isn't an option. Who do you trust to deliver? River Parish Contractors has more than 500 employees, dedicated safety, quality, and project management teams, and 9 full-time estimators backed by a 36,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility. We can deliver multi-million-dollar industrial construction projects on time and safely, locally owned and headquartered in South Louisiana. We're River Parish Contractors, and we're built for bigger challenges.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
People think it's all about game day.
Let's go!
But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same.
If you want a great dinner option tonight, you want Supper Club. They're the best you'll have anywhere. Steak, Chilean sea bass, even award-winning veal parm. How'd I do? Pretty good?
That's pretty darn good.
That was pretty good.
Close your eyes.
I'm getting good at it.
Hey, man.
SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com is where you can go get your reservations for Supper Club. It's Thursday, y'all. Start the weekend early at Supper Club. Don't go home. Don't cook tonight. Don't heat up those leftovers. And if you don't have a reservation, forget about it. Just walk on in, man. They got open seating at the bar. 14 bar stools, 7 bar tables. You can have a cocktail, a glass of wine while you wait on a table, or eat at the bar, one of those bar tables. It'll always be the best dining experience you've ever had when you go to Supper Club. So knock off of work, have that cocktail, glass of wine, and get by Supper Club tonight.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
This was big time workload. We're pushing it pretty good with Tuesday, Thursday. It's just the way the schedule worked. You know, it's probably not the dream scenario of doing joint practices, but I thought it was excellent work for our guys. It's almost, you can view it as kind of like that peak point of training camp, like, you know, to do back to back right there. Obviously, we'll come down, we'll play the game, and then next week we'll have a few practices leading into Dallas.
It's going to be interesting to see as the Saints get ready for the preseason game this weekend against the Rams and then against the Cowboys. So they're out west. They went joint practices on Tuesday with the Rams, Tuesday with the Cowboys, Thursday here with the Rams to get that work. They'll play the preseason game on Saturday at 3 o'clock. And It's also interesting. Can you play number 3 as Kellen Moore's talking about the quarterbacks? We might be able to change their quarterback for the preseason game.
Have you decided who will start Saturday?
Still talking through that. Yep.
Zach went today.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, we'll work through that. Both those guys are playing some good ball.
So what was notable, as you heard, I think it was Nick Underhill asking the question, Zach Wilson actually was QB2 today. So if Tyler Shuck doesn't play in the preseason game on Saturday, it was Zach Wilson today who went ahead of Spencer Rattler. In the first preseason game, Rattler got the start, but Zach Wilson clearly outplayed Spencer Rattler. That's just an objective truth. If you have eyes and you watch the game, the stats show it and everything. The PFF metrics, just your eye test showed you that. So does Zach Wilson get that opportunity this week against the Rams? Maybe. We'll see. Just another layer of intrigue as we look forward to Saturday's preseason game number 2 for the Saints against the Rams, 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. It is after further review. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, or text the show, 499-1045, 499-1045. I'm certainly going to be keeping a close eye on the secondary. PFF does this every year. They put out there, and we talk about PFF a lot here, and it's not necessarily that I think it's the Bible, that it's absolute gospel truth. I say it all the time. It's a metric. It's not the metric. It's just something to consider when you look at PFF. Well, PFF puts out their positional rankings. So, like, they'll rank every quarterback room, every offensive line, every linebacker core, so on. Well, today they looked at their secondary rankings, and I tell you this often, I'm not so much concerned. I don't like lists. I don't like rankings. It's not a thing I do. PFF's a little different because this isn't just a writer giving his subjective opinion on who they think is best. This is using PFF data. So again, whatever you think of PFF and their metrics is fine. If you think it's hot garbage, then just crumple it up, throw it in the trash. I look at it because it's something objective. I'm not getting someone's biased opinion. I'm looking at their objective PFF data to tell you where these units rank. And so when you look at the NFL secondary rankings, the Patriots actually lead the way with the number 1 secondary group in the NFL. They mentioned Christian Gonzalez, who's obviously awesome. Rookie safety Craig Woodson had an 89.7 PFF run defense grade. Kevin Byard joins as well there in the secondary. So New England leading the way. The Texans next, obviously led by Derek Stingley, then Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie. Listen, you got a great defensive coach there, and D'Amico Ryans. Every level of that defense is going to be really good. I mean, they were, I think, the best defense in the NFL a season ago. Denver, Philly, Pittsburgh, Seattle, the Rams, Ravens, Jags, Packers. That's your top 10. When we look for the Saints, I don't think it's necessarily any great surprise that they would be outside of the top 10. Remember, the Saints a year ago were a top 10 overall defense. They were 9th in the NFL in overall defense, but they were certainly unspectacular in the secondary. And then you're losing Alontae Taylor the year after you lose Paulson Adebo to free agency as well. So for New Orleans, and this is why, in part, my one big, I don't want to say complaint, criticism, coming out of the draft. Well, I think the Saints did very good in the draft. The thing that I was displeased with was they didn't use an earlier draft pick on a cornerback. PFF ranks the Saints secondary 25th in the NFL. 25th. Quick write-up. This squad has lost 3 of its top 5 defensive backs by snap count from last season. What you see is what you get with this secondary. There isn't a ton to be excited about. But Kool-Aid McKinstry provides a high floor at cornerback, while Julian Blackmon and Justin Reed form a steady, if unspectacular, safety pairing. I mean, is that not like the thickest form of a backhanded compliment you could ever issue? Kool-Aid McKinstry provides a high floor? That's your number 1. Basically what they're saying is he's not going to bottom out. He ain't going to be good. He ain't going to be great. But he's not going to be the worst. And then Blackmon and Justin Reed form a steady, if unspectacular, safety pairing. Like, can you imagine being a food critic and you're doing a write-up on on a menu item and you go, the coq au vin was steady if unspectacular. I mean, it doesn't exactly inspire confidence or say, run out and get your reservation today. My goodness. But I guess part of it validates the feeling that I have about this secondary. Again, like, I like Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think he's an NFL corner. I just don't think he's an elite NFL corner. Like, he's not the guy that's going to go lock down a top 10 receiver in the NFL. And that showed a year ago when you look at him statistically. His grades against Seattle and the Rams were atrocious. His grades against the Jets and the Titans were much better. Okay. He's a number 2. He's not a number 1. And now you look at Quincy Riley, who's got the groin injury, and you're talking about maybe Martin Emerson winning that job. The only draft pick you used on a cornerback was TJ Hall, the 7th rounder out of Iowa, who was the slowest cornerback at the combine. Do you remember that? He ran like a 4.59. He was the slow of all the cornerbacks at the combine. He was the slowest. I really thought they would go in free agency and address corner. They didn't. When they didn't do that, I thought they would do it high in the draft. They didn't. So I'm great with the Saints adding all the offensive weapons they did for Tyler Shuck, because the thought is, well, you were good on defense, good enough on defense a year ago. Go improve the offense as a complementary piece. Okay. But you got the 25th ranked secondary in the NFL, according to PFF. And I don't know how they get better, unless if you have some of these guys completely outperform the expectations. Players that are steady, if unspectacular, maybe becoming not awful. Would not awful be better than steady if unspectacular? What would be better than steady if unspectacular?
I mean, I think those are kind of the same.
But I'm saying, what's just a tick above?
Steady. Just steady.
Just drop the unspectacular.
Yeah, you drop the unspectacular. Hey, steady. The Coco Van is steady.
He's steady. It's steady if unspectacular. It's got a high floor.
Oh.
Bro, that's what you say about a UDFA that makes the team as a special team. He's got a high floor. Low ceiling. This is Derek Carr. That's what I said about Derek Carr. Isn't that what I said about Derek Carr forever? He's got a high floor, but a low ceiling. You're never going to win a championship with him, but you're not going to go 2-15. You're gonna be perpetually in the 7, 8, 9 win range with Derek Carr. Steady if unspectacular. High floor. That's what we're talking about with Kool-Aid. That's what they are. That's what they are in the secondary. The Saints secondary is the Derek Carr of secondaries.
Oh man.
Print the shirts.
That actually might be worse than steady unspectacular.
Yes.
Oh.
I've painted the picture. I provided the color for the canvas that we're trying to execute here. All right, it's after further review. We're halfway home here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Thanks for hanging out. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, Chase Parham's going to join us. Buddy covers Ole Miss, and there's 3 Ole Miss players that are involved in the TRO a day ago. What does that mean for those guys? Could they be headed to Baton Rouge? We'll get the Ole Miss side of it next on AFR.
AFR.
If you want to feel your best, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help you do it. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com for Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. They're awesome over there. They got great insight. They can get you all the information that you want. If you're not sure about peptide therapy or hormone replacement therapy, the things you hear me talk about every single day, in a 60-second ad read, maybe it's hard to understand it all. But my hope is that in me talking about it, what it does is it inspires you or motivates you to make the call, to book that consultation, to go find out more. Whatever you're dealing with, maybe it's brain fog, maybe it's fatigue, maybe you don't have great waking energy, maybe you don't sleep well at night, maybe you have anxiety, maybe you have low libido, maybe you struggle to burn fat or build muscle even if you get to the gym, whatever it may be. There are options where you can safely, affordably supplement to get to healthy levels to feel and function your best again. It's possible, and Goodwood can help. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
People think it's all about game day.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
This one was a thunderclap, Greeny, because these were the best players that have really kind of put this forward. These are guys who were second-team All-SEC tight ends, starters in that league, guys who would be starters for national title contenders if they decided to come back. And it seems as if they didn't join this lawsuit because they didn't want that optionality to come back.
That's Pete Thamel on Get Up earlier today, talking about the 16 players that were granted a TRO by a Louisiana judge on Wednesday. Among them, 3 former and maybe once again Ole Miss Rebels. This obviously is relevant as LSU and Ole Miss are just at this intersection unmistakably with the staff coming over and all of this now. So our buddy Chase Parham from Rebels 247, good enough to join us. He's at Chase Parham if you want to give him a follow. Yo, dude, thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. It's always something, isn't it?
I say it all the time, Chase. Like when you, I don't know if you feel the same way in Oxford, but it's never boring here. And I don't know why that is, but it just is. All right, let's start with just a reaction when you heard about the 3 former, I guess, Ole Miss players being involved in this TRO.
I'm numb to everything at this point. I think you and I share a lot of opinions as far as the adults have failed the system. The courts are running things. You find a judge that fits to whatever you need, and then you pursue it from there because you have a group and a very large group of coaches who are highly competitive people, and you have millions and tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. And this is what we end up with when you have 0 rules and 0 directions. And you have the part of it that is so broken, but then you also, as you're talking about, have the thing where, look, someone's going to add players, so it might as well be your team if that's possible. And, you know, Pete Golding was asked about this last week, 2 weeks ago, when the 5-for-5 first became a thing, and he was very careful. I think he has been very concerned with chemistry, with wanting it to be certain before he said or did much. So it seems like to this point, I was kind of waiting for more information because Ole Miss has taken a much more deliberate approach in how this is going to shake out, at least on the football side, which I know is why I'm on today. But, hey, it really helped the baseball team yesterday. They got 2 huge players back in Will Furnace and Judd Earmark.
I don't think that's any doubt. There's any question about that. Maybe we can get to that in a second. But let me ask, so I think we're probably talking here about Daquan Wright and Xavier Harris. Help me, Chase, the name of the safety. Help me.
Wydett Williams, ULM.
Wydett. That's it. Wydett Williams. Thank you. The three players. Are these players that Pete Golding wants back in Oxford?
I think they'd love to have Daquan Wright under the right circumstance. Because look, he was a force last year. I think in a lot of ways he was, the second biggest offensive loss after John Stribling, who's really showing out for the 49ers. Daquan can do it all. He's a stud tight end, and Ole Miss is having to do a lot more by committee at tight end. I think they like the room, but you don't have the one guy that's your all-purpose. You're just going to play him a ton of snaps and he's in there. They're going to have to mix and match it a little bit more at that position. So to me, he's the one to look out here, whether it's Ole Miss, somewhere else. I think he's the biggest prize because I've got multiple people telling me that Xavion Harris is frankly too heavy to play right now. I've heard everywhere between 360, 380 pounds on Xavion. He's been out of the Saints camp for a little while now. And he played last year at about 320, 330, something like that. So if that tells you, I don't think he's a guy who would be ready for September 5th, September 6th. I know a couple of Ole Miss people have even said, hey, his future, because it didn't pan out already in camp, might be on the offensive line. He's got great feet, big guy. Could you find some way down the road? And, again, I'm spitballing. With Wydett, he's a system guy. He does everything he's supposed to do. He's always in the right place. From a sheer talent standpoint, I don't know, but he's played a ton of football, and he would obviously be a possibility back or somewhere else if that came about. But he's still in Cardinals camp, like he's still there. He hasn't been cut, so that's the deal too. Is you've got some of these guys that are still pursuing their NFL dream and aren't out on the streets or aren't awaiting their next step because they've been cut from camp.
Yeah, it's interesting too because everything that I've been told out of Cleveland is they really like Daquan Wright, like.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I mean,
please go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just saying, yeah, I'm 100% like that. That's what's so kind of dumb or stupid, or use your word about this right now, is that multiple of these players still have NFL aspirations that are very realistic at this point. And if you have that realistic option, you're not coming back to college football. It just doesn't make sense to me.
So why then would they want their name included in this lawsuit to be granted the TRO?
I'm speculating, but what's the downside? The NFL team is not going to cut you because of this, because they know you're still dedicated to them as long as they want to give you an NFL career and that paycheck and trying to get to your contract and whatnot, but you're leaving your options open. I mean, to me, it's very similar to the basketball players who, as soon as the year was over and they were out of eligibility, they went ahead and just jumped in the transfer portal because they were waiting and said, hey, if this 5-for-5 becomes a thing, then all of a sudden I did the steps necessary to give me more options. To me, this is an option thing. It's, hey, if it doesn't work out, I want to go back to Ole Miss. I want to fight the Greg Sankey SEC intra-conference rule that we're currently debating in these same circles. I want to go to LSU or somewhere else. To me, this is just simply about giving yourself the best chance to continue playing football in whatever capacity that means for the dollars that are out there and whatever that's possible.
So do you think that's the reason why? Because the other part of this too, Chase, is that the Ole Miss guys we mentioned, specifically Wright and Harris, have put their name in the portal. Do you suspect that's just an options thing?
I do, yeah, because I think that's just, to me, that's a systemic deal of that is the next step.
Okay.
Because as of today, as of this moment, as we're talking, they can't play in the SEC unless it's Ole Miss at the moment. Now, you and I both know that courts are just overruling every other rule imaginable, so I wouldn't live off that. I wouldn't put money on it. But at the same time, yes, I think that is absolutely what's going on. I think their agents or their whatever are telling them, you do these processes, and as it moves on, that's the best way to figure out what your options actually are when it matters. That's what I believe.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Chase Parham's with us, Rebels 24/7. So maybe another thought on the Greg Sankey's ruling, because the SEC rule does not allow an intra-conference transfer outside of the traditional portal window when a season ends. So, for example, for football, you could only transfer within the SEC in the January portal window. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. So, for the audience's sake. So, Greg Sankey has issued a statement kind of reminding all the SEC schools about this. Like, let's say LSU wants Daquan Wright. Like, do you think there's a path for them to get him to Baton Rouge?
I mean, look, there's a path for anything because we're seeing every day that all you have to do is find the right preliminary injunction or the right TRO or something else. I mean, sure, I don't have any belief in the system at this point, Matt. So, sure, I'm not putting anything past it. But Sankey is the the oddest figure in this, and I don't mean odd in a bad way, I just mean like the fly that is trying to have some semblance of a system here, because you see, he came out, he's filed another affidavit in the eligibility case, with LSU and R.J. Lewis and that whole deal. He's the one at the front lines of fighting that, and that's very similar to what we're talking about right here. So, no, I think Sankey is going to put every bit of his leverage and power into preventing intra-conference transfers in this story that we're talking about. I just don't know what has teeth and what doesn't. And frankly, I don't think anyone knows right now, including anyone involved in the process.
I commend him for it. I don't know how you feel about it, but I wish more
100%.
I wish more leaders would stand up and do what Greg Sankey's doing, because I've said it all along. If you really want this to end, the leaders need to say, no, we're going to abide by NCAA rules. And they're just not enough of them willing to do it. I had two more things. Number one, what do you think happens with these football guys?
I think that anyone who is cut from a camp is going to end up back in college football to some level, because that's the thing. It's just inside the conference. So we're talking about Ole Miss and LSU, but take any of these guys, I think there's going to be an ACC school or a Big 12 school or somebody that wants to pick them up. They want to continue to play football. That's why when they throw their name inside this court case, I do believe they are going to be playing football somewhere at the college level if they don't stick in a camp. So, yes, I think every one of these guys will be suited up. I just don't know where that's going to be, because it's going to depend on these rules that we're talking about. But that is what I think.
You did mention Will Furness and Judd Utermark. That's massive for Mike Bianco's squad. I'll throw a baseball question, because I know you and I both love it, and so does Muse.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Tell me.
Everybody else is rolling their eyes right now, but it's good. Yeah, it's fine.
They can tolerate one baseball question in August.
Yeah.
Give me a thought here on what that means for Bianco's squad next year, getting those two guys back on the 5 for 5.
They're incredibly going to be good offensively. You're talking about Utermark, who is the school record holder in home runs. Will Furness has been an excellent, efficient bat in the middle of that lineup for a long time. It gives them what they didn't have. As Ole Miss retooled their lineup into a much more efficient 1 through 9 because of how they struck out last year. They were trying to fix that. So they went heavy in the portal on contact rates and trying to put the ball in play. And I wasn't sure they had enough power. So now when you're putting Furness, you're putting Utermark. They picked up Trey Halsey from Louisiana Tech. He hit 15 bombs last year. It's a really balanced lineup. This is simply going to be about how much Ole Miss pitching coach Joel Mangrum can change over the rotation. They picked up a ton of high ceiling but potential low floor guys in the portal. They're going to have to pan out. So this is going to be a pitching staff-dependent team, but the offense is going to hit. They're going to be really, really good if you can find enough outs. I mean, it's a good example. They picked up Maverick Rizzi out of LSU. All the talent in the damn world, but whether or not he gets outs or not, we'll see as time goes on.
Major League, when Rick Vaughn's throwing against the little cutout guy, and it's just there's all the white marks from the ball all over, then he knocks his head off and he hits him like in the crotch. Like, that's Maverick Rizzi.
Well, hey, Matt, it's the Major League movie on Ole Miss, because you got that on one side, and then Hunter Elliott is Eddie Harris at this point. you got Vaseline and Barbasol. You're just trying to get outs however it works. He goes out there, he's gonna punch out 8, he's gonna walk forward, he's gonna give you 5.1. That's how it works.
Just wipe my nose. You put snot on the ball. It's such a good reference. All right, dude. Thanks for the time, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. That's Chase Parham from Rebels247 at Chase Parham, Parham. If you want to give him a follow, he's one of the best. We always appreciate the visit. So I tend to agree with Chase. I mean, you don't go through the exercise of getting the TRO. Yes, you're leaving your options open, but I think all these guys end up back in college. It's just a matter of where at this point. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels, they are in the celebration business. If you're celebrating an engagement, an anniversary, a birthday, a promotion, some other significant life event milestone, you want Lee Michaels to be a part of it. Thrill him or her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Beautiful diamond engagement rings, earrings, necklaces, pendants, bracelets, elegant watches, gorgeous timepieces, writing utensils, beautiful pens, so many different options, and you always get the Lee Michaels experience. And when you walk in the door, you'll know what I mean. They'll make you feel comfortable. Don't feel like you're not sure what to do when you walk into a jewelry store because you don't do it every day. They're going to make you feel comfortable. And if you want to try on 1,000 pieces of jewelry and not buy anything, do it. They're the best. It's Lee Michaels. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. lmfj.com. for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Ross Jackson's going to be with us here in about 16 minutes from right now. Saints are set to wrap up training camp practice here in just a smidge. Ross is going to get the report together. We'll have it up for you over at louisianasports.net. I just saw this tweet from Ross a moment ago. I retweeted it. He said, Tyler Shuck, 15 of 20 with 2 touchdowns on the day of the joint practice with the Rams. Yardage estimations, 158 or so. Touchdown passes, 2 of them to Bryce Lance, who caught all 4 of his targets from Shuck today. So a really nice day for Tyler Shuck and Bryce Lance in the joint practice against the Rams out in L.A. So we'll get a full report from Ross coming up here in, again, about 15 minutes from right now, and we'll have the report over at louisianasports.net a bit later as well. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark in the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Tell you every day about Watermark, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Gorgeous downtown Baton Rouge property. The original high-rise building, 100 years old in downtown Baton Rouge. The original Louisiana National Bank building. So much of the gorgeous history of that building has been preserved with modern amenities now. Whether you're dining at the Gregory, you just want to have a cocktail or a glass of wine at work, after work in the lobby bar, you could do that at Watermark Baton Rouge. Not only is there the Gregory, but there's also the other dining option, which is Milford's on 3rd. You can enter Milford's. It's beautiful, like, cozy little sandwich shop that you can, it's delicious too. It's, a few blocks from us here downtown. I go there for lunch often. You can enter through the lobby, or you can enter from the street on 3rd Street. It's Watermark Baton Rouge. Great place to stay downtown if you're having a staycation. They can host any type of event. Make sure you call my friend Allison Crump for your next event and host it at Watermark Baton Rouge. Downtown Watermark Baton Rouge.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Natural gas from Atmos Energy is a gentle warmth that starts your day. The blue flame that turns simple ingredients into traditions. And the comfort of a shower that never gets cold. Natural gas is the energy that brings your home to life by fueling backyard fun, cozy moments, and bringing people together. Natural gas fuels the moments that make a house a home. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us this Wednesday for AFR from Marucci's Hitter's House on Sieg & Lane in Baton Rouge. Come take some hacks in the cages with the best, better coverage for less money. That's what you get at Insurance Network of Louisiana. But remember, it's not just for your home, for your auto. They also do commercial insurance. So if you're a business owner, you have commercial auto, you have general liability, commercial property, workers' comp. They have business owner package policies, commercial umbrella policies. They can do any type, any line of business, any and everything. Really, commercial auto, they have saved a ton of money for business owners on commercial auto. They're very picky who they partner with, so it's top-rated companies. You're going to get better coverage for less money. Doctors, dentists, law offices, accountants, CPAs, bookkeepers, financial advisors, basically any professional office. Vets, architects, hair salons, restaurants, any type of business. You have insurance. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad you're rolling along with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. Tomorrow, I will actually be in Lake Charles. We'll be doing the show at the sports book in the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles. So shout out to our 337 Southwest Louisiana listeners on 104.1 ESPN there in Lake Charles. Come out and hang out. We'll be there. I'll be in Lake Charles for an event called Legislator, and I'll be at that luncheon, and then we'll kick over to the sports book at the Golden Nugget for AFR. So come hang out from 3 to 6 if you're in Lake Charles. We'll be there tomorrow, and looking forward to wrapping up the week being over in the LC. We're wrapping up hour number 2. Muso Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Aaron Nola spun a gem. 7 innings, 1 run ball, didn't walk anybody, punched out 8, 100 pitches for Aaron Nola, 68 of those strikes, win number 5 on the season. He's had a little bit of a renaissance here as of late. Last 5 starts for Aaron Nola.
Renaissance.
28 2/3.
Yeah.
A 2.51 ERA.
Tell me more.
10 walks, 34 punch-outs.
Injection in my veins.
He's been awesome.
Cali high.
There you go. Grant Taylor got save number 7.
Tell me all about the St.
On
Michael
Wednesday.
the Archangel pitcher in Major League Baseball doing that, Muse.
1 shutout inning for Taylor. No hits. He did strike out 2 as well. Again, save number 7 there as the White Sox
Your
beat the
silence
Cubs.
is deafening.
Josh Smith.
Cali high.
That worked out so well. That really worked out well. Smith went 1 for 3 with a single, drew a walk, and scored twice in the 1-run loss for the Blue Jays a night ago. Smith, what a strange season, man. Had the meningitis, an injury, was traded, but he's up to 250 now, finding a home up there in Toronto. Where am I here? Oh, Alex Laine, shutout inning of relief.
You're in
for,
studio, Muse.
Yep, Alex Laine, shutout inning of relief for Laine.
Then again, it's 4:51. I would fully understand that you wouldn't know where you are.
Take it a step further, perfect inning actually from Laine with 2 strikeouts, 10 pitches, 8 strikes there. That was against the A's. Tommy White wore the collar 0 for 4
Let's go
in
Langer.
that one. Jaden Hill.
Cali high.
No.
Come.
No.
I felt like we were due for one.
Well, he likewise perfect inning of relief for the Rockies yesterday against the Dodgers with 2 punch-outs, 12 pitches, 9 strikes. And out to the WNBA here momentarily. The Toronto Tempos, where you find Anissa Morrow, 13-8 in the ballgame a night ago. They did lose by 11. They're 10-25. They're not very good. But 13-8 for Morrow. She also added a steal in that game as well. Tigers in the pros.
Presented by South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highlands, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. I got a message on my text line earlier today from Mark who said, strongly considering trading in my truck for an Atlas. Said I've driven a truck since 1989. It's one of the nicest I've ever owned, but I've also come to realize I really don't need a truck, and I really like the Atlas R line. So if I go to South Point, who should I ask for? Well, I always talk to Mr. Bill over there. Mr. Bill Reinhardt has been at South Point forever. I'm not sure there's anybody who knows more about or is more passionate about Volkswagen vehicles than Mr. Bill. Eric and I, over the course of our 15 years of buying Volkswagens, have probably bought, 10 different cars from Mr. Bill over the years. But he's great. Whoever you talk to there at South Point Volkswagen, they're going to treat you great. They do a great job at creating the buying atmosphere. You know, when you think about all the different ads you've seen from Volkswagen over the years, from the Darth Vader kid Super Bowl ad, to the fact that they have a converted old school VW bus they converted into a photo booth there right in the showroom. It's fun. Volkswagens are fun. The brand is centered around fun, but it's also the great German engineering, the IIHS top safety features, manufactured right here in the US of A, that are fun to drive, stylish, but also affordable. It's South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Remember, you can always text the show. You can text me, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400, or you can text the station at 499-1045, 499-1045. I did just notice, Ross has this right up over at LouisianaSports.net. The Saints and the Cowboys have each been fined $500,000 for their joint practice brawls. Did you see this? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't see it.
Schefter had the report. I didn't really know that this was a thing. It included a helmet being thrown by Eric McCoy. And I love this line from Ross. A Cowboys safety being German suplexed by wide receiver Brock Rechsteiner, and a number of punches thrown on both of the two fields that were hosting the day's practices. I can definitively say that is the first time in the history of LouisianaSports.net that the words German suplexed have been written in articles. Let's give a big round of applause there to Mr. Ross Jackson. The versatility is key. His ability to work into German suplex into his writing. It's why Ross is the best. Ross is going to join us coming up right after the top of the hour. We will get caught up on today's joint practices, however, not with the Cowboys, with the Los Angeles Rams. So what did we learn? What did they do? How did it go? Getting ready for the preseason game on Saturday and all that junk. We'll get to it with Ross coming up right after the top of the hour, and he will have his practice report written up at LouisianaSports.net shortly as well. All right, here we go. Top of the hour break, then we're back with Ross on AFR.
AFR.
And maybe the Saints, when they go to pay that fine, can get the cash out of their checking account from Hancock Whitney Bank, the official banking partner of your New Orleans Saints. Your guys on a roll today, Musey. That's what happens when you keep it on the straight and narrow, Panama Red. You remember where you are, and you stay very present, and you can nail transitions like that.
I think I've been very good today.
I think you just told me you didn't know where you are. That's the thing that happened, IRL. I know where I am. I'm not far from a Hancock Whitney branch. There's one right downtown, actually on North. There's a Hancock Whitney. If I go down Government Street toward Jefferson, there's one right there as well. When I go to my house, there's a Hancock Whitney branch, which is my branch near my house on Highland Road near the Country Club. Listen, no matter where you are in Baton Rouge or Mississippi or Alabama or parts of Florida, there's more than 180 Hancock Whitney branches and over 200 ATMs. HancockWhitney.com/Matt.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbuilt.com.
Bayou Ford has 0% APR with no payments for 90 days and $1,000 down payment assistance on select 2026 Ford models.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Week 2 of the NFL preseason kicks off tonight, and Raiders rookie quarterback Fernando Mendoza, top overall pick in the draft, is expected to start and play at least 2 quarters against the Texans. In his preseason debut, Mendoza took a couple of sacks on off-script broken plays. Watch to see tonight what he learned from that, explains ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
You're not going to survive in this league taking a bunch of sacks that are quote-unquote unnecessary. He was really good on third downs. So can that continue? But another opportunity for him to just grow and continue to develop. But some of those run-around scramble plays, how much has he learned NFL-wise from those?
Raiders-Texans, 8 Eastern ESPN. Lions tight end Sam Laporta with a hip injury uncertain for the season opener. The Rams expect more workouts from defensive tackle Aaron Donald before he makes a decision whether to come out of retirement. NBA 6 days before he turns 37, free agent guard James Harden agreed on a new 3-year, $97 million contract to return to Cleveland. Oklahoma football coach Brent Venables agreed to a new 6-year extension, averaging $10.5 million a year.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Mute. So. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And Ross Jackson. Oh, no! Oh. Ross, what are you doing here?
Well, you know, man, I'm just ready to talk about some joint practice from out here in California, man.
Why don't you just jump on the 101 and get out of here? Okay, hey, did anybody get injured since you've been on the phone?
Not since I've been on the oh gosh, my ankle. No, I'm just kidding. No, nobody's been injured since I've been on the phone.
So yesterday we were talking about Kamara. Now, I guess we didn't even talk about Quincy Riley, another one that's going to be out maybe to the beginning of the season. So what does that mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Now, the Saints did end up signing over the course of the offseason veteran corner Martin Emerson Jr., who himself is kind of flying under the radar as a guy that's recovering from an Achilles injury himself. Which he injured during training camp of 2025.
Awesome.
But has been really impressive, was really good over the course of the preseason game as well. We'll see if that Quincy Riley injury goes into the regular season. But during the point right now, it's where they're just kind of going through practices, preseason, things like that. I would certainly expect Martin Emerson Jr. to be the guy that jumps up into that role.
I'd like to congratulate you. You're the first person ever in the history of LouisianaSports.net to write the phrase German suplexed in a piece, so that's really good. We're excited about that.
I am too.
Did the Saints and the Rams behave today?
Yes, no issues at all, and that's not surprising, right? Like these two teams have practiced against one another pretty commonly over the course of the past few years, and they're able to kind of keep things civil. Got in some good work here, and Saints also had some good work against the Jaguars without much issue as well. And so, with these two teams, both the Saints and the Cowboys picking up some fines here, I think it was a little bit of a reality check probably on both sides.
Or maybe was it that everybody was terrified of Myles Garrett?
Could be, but Myles Garrett wasn't on the field, so
why not?
But that doesn't mean that he won't run out. He's been out of practice for a couple of weeks, or for probably a little bit over a week now, dealing with an injury, and so it wasn't super surprising to see him not involved today.
Is he really dealing with an injury, or is just a veteran that doesn't need training camp, and they're like, just go stand on the sideline and pretend like you're hurt and be there week one?
I think it's a little bit of maybe somewhere in the middle, to where it's like, oh, I have this very minor injury, and then the Rams go, oh, okay, great, that sounds like a major injury to me. You should sit out for the rest of training camp. And then they just kind of left that alone.
All right, let's run through a little bit of the notebook. I know it'll be posted over at LouisianaSports.net here in a bit as the Saints and Rams are off the practice field. What were the highlights today?
Yeah, I think, I spent most of my time focused over on the offensive side. I will say over on the defensive side, a lot of things went the Rams' way. I don't think that should be surprising to anybody. Matthew Stafford and Davante Adams. Although Dallas Beanham did end up with an interception while he was defending Davante Adams. Him, Martin Emerson Jr., as well as Isaac Yiadom all saw some first-team reps opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry at corner. Dallas coming up with the interception there toward the end of his practice. And then over on the offensive side for New Orleans, pretty efficient day again for Tyler Shuck. He completed, I counted 15 of his 21 passes. There was another incompletion that was nullified by pass interference, defensive pass interference, and connected with Bryce Lance for a pair of touchdowns as well, both of which in the red zone. So they continue to produce pretty well in the red zone here throughout training camp. But overall, some ups and downs for the Saints offense, no doubt. And I think that was to be expected going up against this Rams defense. So good work for those guys, but certainly some tape to learn from as they come out of this one.
I noticed that you mentioned Olave and Caden Ellis both had rest days, but Devon Gottschall was back, which is, I think, impactful. I mean, anybody can get back at this point. It's good for New Orleans. So what did Gottschall do? How did he look? Maybe fill us in there.
Yeah, he was involved, and he got in there. He kind of went right back to his nose tackle position and everything. Didn't see too many big runs from the Rams. We saw a lot of stuff that was kind of blown dead within, 5 yards or so. So overall, I'd say a pretty positive impact getting him back. And I think run defense has continued to look pretty stout. The thing, or I don't want to say stout, but has looked improved from what we saw last year during training camp. And then, they're still waiting to get Kristen Miller back, too, who was injured during the preseason game. And he looked really, really impressive during the preseason game. Graded out as one of the highest rookies across the first week of the preseason over at Pro Football Focus. So once they get him back and have Devon Gottschall, where those two guys have been kind of playing musical chairs here recently, I'll be very interested to see what that defense ends up looking like from a run-stopping perspective on the defensive line.
A couple more for Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, of course, Locked on Saints. You did mention Bryce Lance had a couple of touchdowns. Maybe a thought here on the receiving group and who's making the most of the opportunity now with some of the injuries there.
Yeah, I think the natural progression still makes sense to where it's Devon Vele stepping back into the role that he was in last year as a complement to Chris Olave while Jordan Tyson is out. But I do think that the other rookies, Bryce Lance, as well as Barryon Brown, have major opportunities here. And Bryce Lance is the guy that, as of late, has been kind of the talking point coming out of that. I mean, a couple of nice catches here, touchdown catch, both of which, running sort of out of different pieces, different places in the alignment. He's been somebody that I think he was targeted 4 times today in total, all from Tyler Shuck, caught all 4 of those passes. And my kind of yardage estimation put him at over 50 yards receiving on the day too. So, I mean, he's somebody that's been able to produce, and he's somebody that has been able to both go from making kind of the tough catches and doing the dirty work in the short area to now kind of opening up as a 3-level threat. And I think that's what you want to see from him. And, he comes from a very good program over there at North Dakota State University. And so far that's been showing here throughout training camp, especially over the course of the past week or so.
You also noted Cesar Ruiz, John Ridgway, Dallas Beanham all left practice. Are they all devastating injuries? Because that's just what's happening to everybody right now.
I don't think much devastation when it comes to Cesar Ruiz. I think he's going to be okay.
That's
Although
devastating.
It was
I'm kidding.
It was great to see Jeremiah Wright, the rookie out of Auburn, step right into that right guard role and perform pretty well. So I do want to highlight that in terms of his performance.
Okay.
John Ridgway, I think, might be a lengthy process. Seen kind of walking off, booted up on his way out of the practice. And so, but still walking under his own power. So maybe just precautionary. We never really know with those things.
Right.
And so we'll see, we'll learn more here in a little bit. The good news is that he wasn't going to participate probably much during the joint practice, or won't have to participate much during the preseason game. Rather, they have a walkthrough tomorrow. They have a day off on Sunday. And so he's got some days to rest and then see when he might be able to get back out on the football field. And in Dallas, Beanham's kind of a question mark. I don't know if that one was more heat related and minor, or if it was, something that happened when he came down. He had the interception that I mentioned earlier against Devontae Adams, and that was the last play. He ended up leaving after that. So we'll see where things are. I mean, we watched Ronnie Bell, the New Orleans Saints wide receiver, get carted off during the Cowboys practice, and he was back the very next day. That was more heat exhaustion than anything else. So, we'll see what happens with Dallas here.
Before you go, what are they doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow's a walkthrough, nice and easy, no media access, so there won't be any updates coming from practice or anything like that. But that's more of a walkthrough for their guys to kind of get into the rhythm of things before their preseason game on Saturday at SoFi against the Rams.
All right, make sure you follow him at Ross Jackson Nola. You can read LouisianaSports.net, listen or watch Locked on Saints, all free. Thank you, dude.
Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Hop on the 101 and get out of here. Is he gone already? Dang it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Evermore.com. Available at great local retailers. Love it when y'all send me photos. So if you buy Evermore, you're drinking it, you see it out in the wild, snap a photo, tweet me, tag Evermore. Tag Evermore, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, Instagram, whatever it is. EVAMOR. And if you can't find it, buy it online. Evermore.com. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Ooh, that's a new photo on the homepage. I love that. The little buy now tab at the right, top right. 20, 32, 64-ounce bottles, Evermore.com, Evermore.com, EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Louisiana product, by the way, too. Support Louisiana companies like Evermore. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a break. When we come back, we have bounced around and talked a good bit today from a lot of different angles about what kind of is the top story in college sports, which is the TRO that was handed down a day ago by the Louisiana judge granting eligibility to 16 former college football players, including Jack Pyburn. A lot of you have rightly asked, well, what do they think about this in Tampa? I mean, Pyburn's got this TRO and he could go back to college, but he's trying to earn a roster spot with the Bucs. Like, how does that make sense? Well, Jenna Laine covers the Bucs for ESPN.com, and she's going to join us next to answer that question. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Happy 60th. Gordon McKernan turned 60 yesterday. Fired up for him, man. He's been a great friend, and what a milestone birthday, and happy to celebrate. But listen, there's so much to talk about on top of just talking about Gordon and turning 60 and celebrating that. The Get Gordon billboard design contest is back for another year. Super easy. Go to getgordon.com/billboards. Getgordon.com/billboards. One more time, getgordon.com/billboards. You can win up to $2,000 in prizes. You have to submit by September the 20th, but you can win up to $2,000 with the getgordon.com billboard design contest. Get creative, and not only will you win prizes if you win, there's kids and adult divisions. Not only will you win prizes, you'll see your billboard on the side of the interstate. GetGordon.com/billboards.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbill.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Yeah, I think there's a lot into that and the questions that come from that. And so, fair question, but I'm not going to comment on any of it because there's just too many directions of questions that can go to.
I have certainly learned in 8 months covering Lane Kiffin, he has no interest in ever answering a personnel question, ever. But Jack Pyburn apparently is looking to return to LSU, and as I understand, LSU is open to having Jack Pyburn return. The complicating factor is that Jack Pyburn is currently trying to win a roster spot with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of you have rightly asked, well, how do the Bucs feel about this? Let's ask Jenna Laine. She covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for ESPN.com. She's at Jenna Laine, ESPN, if you want to give her a follow on Twitter. She's with us now. Hey, Jenna, thanks for the time as always. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I have to say I'm quite baffled as well at the landscape of which it's not completely unfamiliar, but just the landscape of college football and the fact that we have guys in camps right now and the uncertainty as to whether or not they're going to remain in the camps, they're going to go back to school. It's pretty interesting times for sure.
Look, we're in Louisiana. Obviously, we cover the Saints a lot as well, so we're very familiar with Tampa, where the Vita Vea situation's going on. Obviously, Baker's had his situation this offseason. Is this Pyburn thing even registering there right now?
Yes, so I did ask Todd Bowles about it today, because I think it's a very unique situation, and because we talked to him just a few days ago. The room that he's in has a lot of competition and it's very deep. But for a guy to step in his first preseason game and get 2 sacks, especially in this team has struggled to get to the quarterback. And so when a guy does that, it certainly turns a lot of heads. And plus, too, because, he also had played at Florida. There's a lot of Gator fans here. So, Todd Bowles said he had seen that ruling and, he hadn't talked to Jack otherwise to hear his thoughts on it and what his plans were. But he was at practice today. So But we talked to him a few days ago, and I came away from that conversation just super impressed with him.
Okay. Do you? I'm not holding you to this. I'm just curious because you get to see this team every day. Do you think Jack Pyburn will make the 53-man roster?
I think it's going to be really hard for him, to be honest, even though he, when I was going through because I literally just did my roster projection, and it's still subject to change. They've got 2 more preseason games. But it's the fact that, they drafted Ruben Dane Jr. Mm-hmm. They signed Al-Qadim Muhammad in free agency. They've got a guy by the name of David Walker who didn't play at all last year because he suffered a torn ACL his rookie season and before they even put on pads. And this guy was lighting it up with 9 straight practices with 9 sacks. He just kept going and going and going. And you have that. Then you've got Anthony Nelson, who's a veteran, who's been on the team forever. So it's just kind of a hard group to break into. I have Chris Braswell not making the roster. Okay. And he was a second-round draft pick a couple of years ago. So I thought, the thing is, if you want to be on a practice squad, the guy's got to clear waivers, and I could certainly see a team trying to snatch him up. So that would be really interesting. I will say that when you talk to him, and I tend to know how this coaching staff feels. You just fall in love with his attitude and his effort and what he brings to the room and how seriously he takes this. When we were talking to him, he was saying, I got to be honest with you, when I didn't hear my name called on draft day, I had to really take a long, hard look at myself. And he goes, I realized I didn't do enough in college. I didn't take it as seriously as I needed to. And we were all a little baffled by that because by all accounts, he was very successful. But he's like, nope, it wasn't good enough. I could have done more. And I just came away really impressed with just the standards that he has for himself, the expectations that he has for himself. You can see why he's a really successful person in his life.
Yeah. Jackson easy guy to root for. Very, very likable. I enjoyed covering him the year he was in Baton Rouge. Jenna Laine's with us at Jenna Laine, ESPN. She covers the Bucs. The front office, though, Jenna, knowing how that organization runs, I'm looking at this from afar going, okay, Jack's in camp with the Bucs, playing well, but clearly he has okayed the attorney to file the lawsuit to grant the TRO to open the door to return to college, which means he, at least in part of his mind, is exploring a return to college and not being with the Bucs. So are the Bucs looking at this going, well, are you in or not? Because if you're not, then you're occupying a roster spot for someone that could be trying to actually earn a roster spot here. Would the Tampa Bay front office be ticked, miffed? I'm trying to think of what adjective to use, how they might feel about Jack being granted this TRO.
I don't think, just knowing what I know about the way the general manager, Jason Light, thinks and the way Todd thinks, Todd Bowles, they're going to want him to do what's best for himself. And he's come out and competed really hard every single day. And they just awarded Vita Vea a new deal. He was a training camp hold-in, and it took them a while to get it done, but ultimately they paid him. Now, is he breaking the bank? Is he getting Jalen Carter money? No. But, he's close to top 10 in the league in pay. And so it's this is generally an organization that tries to do right by its players. I even go back to okay, what are some of the other unique circumstances that we've seen on this team? I remember Cameron Kinley was one guy who was a really unique circumstance because he was a Navy grad. And, how that you deal with this sometimes with the service academy graduates and whether or not they need to go, and they were, they were willing to kind of do whatever they could to work with them. He was ultimately a very early cut, so that kind of made the decision for him, but they were proud of him. They stood by him. They tend to be pretty, they tend to be pretty player friendly, I would say. I'd say it's one of the better organizations when it comes to that. Okay. So I don't think that they would be mad or anything. And not just that, but I will say that you're dealing with a head coach who has a son that is at Michigan right now. And he's very familiar with the landscape of college football. And then another son who's on his coaching staff right now was also a college football player and, a recent graduate. And so I think when you view things through that lens, you want to do right by your players. So I think they're going to, maybe have some honest conversations with him, and they'll probably give him some honest feedback too.
So it's it probably answers this question. I just have a couple more. there's this issue of if Jack does come back to Baton Rouge, if he leaves, Tampa would retain his rights. They could put him on the retired list.
Saw that.
But if they cut him, then he would have the opportunity, Jenna, to spend a year at LSU, then re-enter the draft, as I understand it, talking to attorneys and agents today. So it would be better for Jack if Tampa cut him. It'd be better for Tampa if they retained him and made him leave. Any thought on how they might approach that?
I would venture to guess that they would want to do right by the player. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I don't. I mean, look, we're still dealing with unique sets of circumstances here, and we have been for the last few years as it pertains to, post-COVID and having older players and things like that. I would think they would want to do right by the player and give the player the best opportunity he can to realize his dreams. That's my gut feeling. Okay. And just knowing what I know about this organization and the conversations that I have with the front office and the coaching staff.
Bauer Sharp's there as well, another former LSU Tiger, a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how that goes with Bauer. Before you go, I mean, obviously we have a huge Saints presence here as well. How are the Bucs looking in camp? They're going to stink? Please tell me they're going to stink. They're going to stink?
Well, you mentioned Bauer. I have to say, I continue to be really impressed with him. Okay. And I actually think that, I have him making the roster. I mean, again, I was going through my predictions, and those haven't published yet. But I actually think that he could get the nod over Devin Culp, who was a draft pick 2 years ago, who's been with the roster. But I just think that Bauer, because he's a great athlete, as we know, former quarterback. Sure. He's got position flexibility. He can do a lot of different things as a tight end, and I think he's already a better blocker. But the thing that really impresses me about him is, like, the more I see him, it's almost like I feel like he just gets better and better every day. Mm. And I know going through some of my conversations that I've had with some of the folks within this organization, they feel like he's one of those guys that still isn't close to, like, reaching his ceiling. But, like, every time the ball goes his way, he finds it. He's been very consistent. I'm really excited to see him grow. And I also got to say, too, when I was watching his combine, I wasn't as impressed, like, with him as a sheer athlete. But then, like, when I saw him in rookie camp, I was like, he looks really fluid. Yeah. Like, you watch him up close, and I also know that he's had to really work hard on the drops and things like that. He showed really big improvement. I just feel like every time I see him, he's just making these really big jumps, and I become more and more impressed with him.
Another guy that's easy to pull for.
Yeah. I think he's a great attitude. Well, I got to say, I got a particular fondness for a lot of those Louisiana guys. The Bucs have been known. I know it's ticked a lot of Saints fans off because they're like, why? The Bucs love LSU guys. And I know for a long time, Saints fans have been like, why aren't we getting them? I have to say, those guys, I really think a lot of it, too, has to do with Louisiana is such a melting pot. Sure. And so I feel like they're some of the easiest guys to get along with because they're always down to have a good time. They're used to bringing people together. They're just some of my favorite guys in any locker room.
You get it. Jenna, you got to come in.
Totally
forget Tampa. Come cover the Saints. Come cover the Saints.
Well, I got some friends doing that. I got some friends covering the Saints, and they do a heck of a job. So that's another thing. The media crew over there, they're so much fun. So I enjoy coming to those games. I think it's always a great time. I've even had my mom and sister come fly in for some Saints games. Those are great rivalries, and I know too, Saints fans are excited about the quarterback play over there, and they should be. It's some exciting time.
Just one point of clarification: I'm not trying to give you Kat Terrell's job because we love Kat. She's great.
I was going to say Kat. I really
Kat's
love
awesome.
her a lot.
I've known Kat forever. Team. Yes, we're not giving you Kat's job, but maybe there could be an adjacent situation.
I could not do the job the way she does. I have seen that woman's salary cap notes, and you have to be a cap guru to cover the Saints. You have to keep the most impeccable salary cap notes, and I have seen that woman's spreadsheet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so small, especially with my mathematical abilities when I look at her cap spreadsheet. And she's like, well, you have to if you're going to cover the Saints. It was a fact of life. But I'm like, no, it just totally put me to shame.
Kat also loves whiskey as well. So typically if I ever need a favor from Kat, I ended up paying her in like Weller 12 or something like that. So
she's a great teammate. I got to tell
awesome.
you, especially too with and it's going to be weird not having Mike Evans there, right? Because I mean, it was always like Mike against the Saints, and even Tristan Wirfs would say, when he first got to Tampa, he was told, you got to watch out for Mike in those Saints games. He gets really fired up. So it's going to be weird having that. But like when they would have those dust ups, him and Marshawn Lattimore, it was her and I working right next to each other, just seriously typing away and working the locker rooms to get as many different perspectives and quotes as we could. I mean, she's very good. She's a very good teammate to work with.
Love that. Yeah, Kat's great. You do an awesome job as well, and we appreciate a couple of minutes
thank
today.
You.
Jenna Laine, at Jenna Laine ESPN. Y'all give her a follow on Twitter, at Jenna Laine ESPN, covering the Bucs. We'll bother you again, I'm sure, sometime whenever the Saints and the Bucs quarrel somewhere down the line. But we appreciate it as always.
It would never be a bother, and I can't wait to come back. I truly love visiting, so we'll definitely have to catch up soon. And those games are always a lot of fun.
Thanks, Jenna. We appreciate the time.
Thanks.
We'll see you. It is after further review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, shades. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too. Relief Windows, ReliefWindows.com. Oh, yeah. Proud partner of LSU Athletics. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We tell you all the time about the energy-efficient replacement windows. Tell you about the beautiful entry doors. Hardy plank and vinyl siding. You want to make your home safer, more energy efficient. And by the way, when you install this Hardy plank or vinyl siding, you pick the color, you do it once, you're done forever. It doesn't chip, crack, peel, any of that stuff. It's easy to clean, and it's fire resistant, so it'll make your home safer. Learn more about all the great products they have at Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, thanks to Jenna Laine for joining us. We've tried to cover this Jack Pyburn thing from all angles. As we opened the show today, and I gave you some of my feedback, a lot of the conversations I've had with agents and lawyers and administrators and all different types of people involved in this. I have a write-up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to read it about Pyburn. We talked to Chase Parham last hour, who covers Ole Miss, the Ole Miss side of this. We just talked to Jenna Laine, who covers the Tampa side of it. Our buddy Jeff Watson from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, who does all the NIL law, is going to join us next to kind of answer some of the legal questions. We'll do that next on AFR.
After further review.
Get on by and see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. I know the calendar says we're steamrolling towards September, which is weird to say. So it means fall is right around the bend, but it's still a bajillion degrees. Let's be honest. It's summer. They still have full greenhouses over at Clegg's. So whatever type of beautiful flowers you'd love to add to your flower beds, your patio pots, get on by and see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. I can't believe I just opened this. It's crazy. They've already planned the Poinsettia open house for November the 28th. Mark your calendars right now because it's coming. I guess it'll be here before we know it. But in any event, right now is the time. If you're a deer hunter, they've got buck busters, mow bucks, deer corn at all locations. If you're setting out those plots, our friends at Clegg's Nursery got you covered. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new Ram 1500 truck on our lot now with $22,000 off MSRP.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the Lake.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Well, that didn't take very long. And somehow it still feels like it's long overdue. Breaking news here from Major League Baseball. Jeff Passan had it first. Seattle Mariners plan to call up left-hander Ken Anderson. Top pitching prospect in baseball. Plan is to have him start Saturday. Anderson, of course, was the third pick in the 2025 draft. In 93 to third innings, he's got a 1.06 ERA, 135 strikeouts to 13 walks, and has allowed just 47 hits. I'm sorry, is he playing against Destrehan? Or is he playing against professionals?
Double A, too, man. Double A.
That's so stupid. 135 strikeouts to 13 walks in 93 to third innings pitched. Unbelievable. Congrats to Cade Anderson. He'll make his debut on Saturday. As Cade Anderson is ascending the professional ranks, Jack Pyburn is trying to go the other way and come back to college. Jeff Watson from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we turn to for a lot of these legal questions. He's good enough to join us now. Hey, Jeff, how are you, man? Thank you for the time.
Doing good, bud.
Okay, let's start with what happened yesterday, the TRO. What does that mean?
Okay, so kind of look a lot what we talked about last time. The NCAA is trying to enforce their bylaws, and one of the bylaws is the 5-for-5 rule, and that 2022 does not get that extra year. And so what the plaintiffs, which are the players, file a temporary restraining order injuncting the NCAA from applying that new bylaw.
Okay.
And so the judges grant the temporary restraining order saying, NCAA, you cannot enforce that bylaw, and these kids are eligible. And then they've gone further since the Colorado ruling and saying not only are they eligible, you need to open a transfer portal window for them. You cannot suspend the coach 50% of the year if you use these transfer kids. And you cannot fine them, and they are free to roam wherever they want to go and enroll and become a player. So it's kind of expanded from the very first Colorado that just said, yes, they're eligible, but kind of hinted at you got to go back to your other school. Now the rulings are all of what I just talked about right there. And so the restraining order stops the NCAA from enforcing their bylaws. And then theoretically what will happen is that down the road, there will be a trial on the restraining order to see that if it will become a final restraining order. The funny thing about that, you go all the way back to Trinidad's case, they set the trial in February when the season's over.
Right.
So it becomes irrelevant.
So we would anticipate that to happen here. Is if I don't want to read between the lines, but we think that maybe that final trial may happen after the season so that it would be irrelevant.
Yeah, but what can happen is the NCAA can file appeals. And like the Colorado appeal is going, I believe, to the 10th Circuit.
Right.
There's an appeal in Ohio. There's going to be appeals in California. This decision by Judge Jordan will be appealed to the First Circuit here.
Okay.
So there is still the appeal process that will be used by the NCAA.
You answered this once before, but I want you to answer again because I keep getting asked this question. If, let's say, under the TRO, Jack Pyburn comes back, plays for LSU, later the NCAA wins, Pyburn's ineligible, would LSU have to forfeit those games?
I'm sure they would try. And then there would be lawsuits filed saying that you can't because at the time that he did what he did, they were eligible.
Right.
Because a temporary restraining order was in place. So we didn't break any laws because the courts told you can't enforce that law, so it's not a law or not a bylaw. And so how can we be, punished or sanctioned or whatever if we did what was allowed to be done? On top of that, the rulings have gone further and said you can't issue sanctions. You can't do anything negative to these programs and players if they abide by our temporary restraining order.
The injunction that was filed for the TRO yesterday, we said the student athletes filed it, but really, are the attorneys filed it on behalf of the student athlete or on behalf of school? Are schools the ones that are actually pushing this?
No, it's the plaintiffs. It's the people that are fighting the NCAA, and they go and get these plaintiffs to become their plaintiffs in their issues. I would suspect that all of these big law firms have these petitions and everything ready to go, and they're just waiting to plug in people that fit it.
Okay.
It's a fight between the NCAA and the people that are trying to change this. And I say this sometimes jokingly, but I'm starting to kind of believe it, that maybe this is all a conspiracy theory and the NCAA is acting this unreasonable so that these lawsuits can be filed, so that the end result of us getting to a normal college game plan can occur. Because why wouldn't they just grant the 2022 players, grandfather them in and allow them to have eligibility and make this very simple?
Why not?
It's just one class. It's just a very small number of class members that are eligible. I know people are like 1,180 potential kids could be cut by NFL players on August the 30th, but there's only a small amount of those that actually qualify to become eligible, which is very interesting. You and I kind of talked about August 30th, the NFL is going to make their cuts, and September 6th is the first games, or that September week. And so you may be having kids that are trying to make that NFL roster get cut and then enroll in class immediately thereafter to try to play football in college.
Jeff, what's the timeline for what's next? And maybe another way to ask it is, so I know the NCAA is appealing the Colorado judge's ruling. When do we anticipate that appeal will be heard? And would that if the NCAA wins that appeal, does the temporary restraining order that was granted in the Louisiana court on Wednesday, is that nullified?
Just the one in Colorado and whatever class is involved in that, which it seems to say that it's all 22 class members. So it's kind of crazy that you have all these state courts and federal courts in different states all making rulings and certifying classes of all of these plaintiffs. And sometimes the plaintiffs are in two different ones and they have competing decisions. like I believe in California, they stayed the injunction, but in Colorado, they did not. And I think some of those plaintiffs are in both of those cases. I know you like answers, but
yeah,
they're it's all over the place because of all the different lawsuits. Not only just different lawsuits in different states, but some state courts, some federal courts. Some rulings are going one way, a couple are going the NCAA's way. So it's crazy, to say the least. And now you have NFL players trying to make a roster and having a fallback to go play college.
Do you think Jack Pyburn is going to play for LSU against Clemson September the 5th?
I think I saw a comment from his dad saying that he had some unfinished business. I think if he gets cut, so I think 7 people entered the transfer portal today. Probably someone entered while we were talking today. Someone probably got cut today before the second preseason games, and he probably entered the transfer portal. I think Pyburn's probably looking at what are my chances of making this team a practice squad team or getting picked up as an unrestricted free agent somewhere versus going back to LSU or entering the transfer portal. So I think every day that goes by, different decisions are being made based on, are they making an NFL team or are they getting cut?
Yeah.
I think if he does, there's a chance. But, Matt, there's a whole other story here is that roster limits are set. The rev share cap is gone. It's used. It's where do you get the money to pay a kid that does come back? You have to go get true third-party NIL deals to get him money to be able to come back because he's walking away from a six-figure deal in the NFL, $150,000, $175,000 deal. So he's going to want to get paid. He's going to have to go to a school that has either money left over, which doesn't make any sense that anybody would leave money left over. You'd have to go get him some NIL deals. So that's a whole other world is if you want to come back, who pays them?
Yeah.
How do you get that money?
And do you have roster spots?
Do you have a roster spot? Then do you go cut a guy that has been practicing all the way up to 2 weeks before the game? Do you now go and say, hey, man, I'm sorry, got to cut you?
Yeah.
Or tell him, hey, try next, hang out. Can you hang out for a year and come back next year? We need a roster spot.
Well, I don't think this is going away. As it develops, I'm sure we'll call on you again. We appreciate a couple of minutes. Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate it, bud.
Yep, that's Jeff Watson from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Handles all the NIL law for Gordon, the G team, and all that. So we lean on him heavily when we have things like this popping up. Jimmy's here for Auto Locks next. We'll wrap it up.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You can spell it out. Love reading 5-star Google reviews. How about this one from Mike Massey, who said Kevin Webb has come over to the house a couple of times to perform maintenance and repairs on our AC. He is honestly one of the best HVAC folks we've dealt with at River City's 1 Hour Air. Very professional, detail-oriented, pretty humorous guy. If you're lucky enough to get Kevin, know your HVAC needs are in good hands. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 Hour Air. Hat tip to Kevin, the great job that he does. That's been my experience every time I have a technician come out from River City's 1 Hour Air. They're expertly trained. They recruit and retain the best people. It's all about continuing education, so they have very little turnover. It's an awesome place to do business with. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
If you're a commercial or industrial builder and you're a big builder, you need a metal building, you need to know about ProForm Steel. ProFormLA.com is the website where you can go request a quote. ProFormLA.com, ProFormLA.com. Let's be honest. Lead times are massive when you're talking about your business. And at ProForm Steel, they carry a 10-week lead time when most are 16 to 20 weeks. You're talking about month and a half, 2 months faster than other companies. I mean, more than a month shorter lead time because everything is in-house at ProForm Steel. The purling, the sheet metal, the beam fab, everything. They produce everything in their facility on Airline Highway in Gonzales. ProFormLA.com, ProFormLA.com. And remember, free delivery on everything. If you buy it, they will deliver it. Every building. It's ProForm Steel. ProFormLA.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
What's up, Matthew?
Another day, another dollar. What about you?
Another day, another court discussion with Annie in the midday show. So, court TV.
Oh, yeah.
I am worn out. We next summer it's going to be either have a court discussion or we have Max and his game show questions. It was such a big hit about a week ago.
Love it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's play the Family Feud.
I want to play Plinko.
Oh, jeez.
Go.
What we got tonight, man? What are we looking at?
Tonight? Preseason football.
Let's go.
The Raiders got smoked. They were one of the 8 line movements of 1.5 points or more that all got smoked last week. And this time it's going against the Raiders. Betting against the Raiders tonight, the Houston Texans. But Houston is not playing a whole lot of people. Mendoza didn't look bad. There is something in the air at night. You know, Ab better have a song. Fernando, we on Fernando tonight, +1 against the Texans. So,
by the way, that line is now Raiders -1.5.
Oh, good gosh. Oh, well. Pays to get down early. So, anyway, Raiders -1.5. Well, that's 1.5s are tricky because they're tied, and they are not going to overtime, so they'll go for 2, so they will fall 1 sometimes. So that's a little concerning. So that would caution that one. Going with the Chargers, +1.5 against San Francisco. It's a fade against San Francisco. They got all kinds of players hurt, including their coach. They got a bad accident, but I mean, Bosa, McCaffrey, Evans, I'm forgetting somebody in there as well, but there's a lot of guys out. This is a get in, get out type of deal for San Francisco. Trey Lance loves the preseason. Much better than the regular season. So we'll take the Chargers +1.5 against San Francisco. 9 o'clock, late kick out on the coast. Yankees in a rain delay, so you can still get down. I think even some even money right now on the Yankees. I got actually plus 105, but looking for a sweep. Garrett Cole tonight against the Orioles. Orioles, man, it's just more of a sign of Tampa Bay. I thought their bats were heating up, but it's more of the Tampa Bay's pitching really getting hit right now. We lost the first two on Baltimore. Hopefully we'll avoid the sweep, Otterlock sweep. We're taking the Yankees flipping to the other side tonight. Then a Texas two-step parlay tonight. Texas and Houston, it pays to get on them earlier. This is going down. It was plus like 170 early. It's down like plus 144.
Yeah, 144,
Texas, Houston money line parlay. Kate Anderson just got called up. Expected to get called up. He will probably start this weekend. This is expected. We talked about it on the show, especially when Luis Castillo, the veteran right-hander for the Seattle Mariners, was shipped off to White Sox.
1 minute remaining
before the trade deadline. So he will get his first start. He has ripped it up in minor league.
We're looking forward to it on Saturday. Rufino's tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. Friday. Rufino's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
All right,
Otter. See you there. Good luck.
Good luck. Have a great show. Thank you. All right, that's Jimmy Ott. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. They keep you coming back because they treat you like family. They can handle everything, even that AC in your vehicle. If your AC isn't keeping up in your vehicle, they can diagnose and help make sure that you're up and rolling year-round. So schedule that service today at ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they keep you coming back. They treat you like family. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. All right, it's going to do it for us here. You miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Muse Pauly thinks y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, I get to remind you about my friends over at the Williamson Eye Center, where they are a full-service optical shop. Remember, it's eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. So you need your annual eye exam because you should all have your annual eye exam. Schedule it today at WilliamsonEye.com. Locations all over Greater Baton Rouge, Ascension, Livingston, down Lutcher and the River parishes. They got Williamson Eye Center locations all over, so there's one near you, WilliamsonEye.com. Need to update that contacts or glasses prescription? They can help you, and they can fill that prescription as well at their optical shop. But, of course, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can help. No one better than Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. If it's LASIK, the implantable contact lens, the EVO ICL, PRK, the custom lens replacement, they do it all at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com.
People ask why I chose to partner with Parrish. The answer is simple: trust. Whether you're choosing teammates, business partners, or the people working on your home or business, choose a company you know and trust. Visit parrishbill.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have